Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Morning. Welcome. This is Saturday. It's noon. You know what time it is. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsay. Of course, I'm in the building with the big homie, Righteous Reg. What's going on, brother?
It's your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster, media man, Double R, Righteous Reg. It's Saturday morning, Philip Lindsay. It's 2025. I think I'm officially in 2025. I feel like it was just like a bunch of days where I was just like in a blur and a lull, still in that holiday, whatever that is. And now I'm like, oh yeah, it's 2025. What a time.
Yeah, it took 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Here.
sometimes it does feel like it takes a minute to get out of that holiday mode. I was just telling my brother how like those weeks from like Christmas to New Year's Eve, it feels like you do a lot of drinking, and then you continue to keep drinking for like the next few days, and it's like, well, wait a minute, man, why am I?
What
like,
is this?
There was one year where I was drinking like every day, and I was like, what? Let's chill out.
Yeah. Too old for this. Your body is the one that really tell you to chill out. Like, hey, what's going on here? What you doing?
No, 1000%. My body will be like, nah, dog, you gotta cool out. Start drinking some water again. Get back in your mode. What are you doing?
See you having fun. I know you having family's time. I'm happy for you and all that. But let's get back to this.
Yeah, I think it's that way with work stuff too. Like you get in that like holiday mode of not working. It's like, dang, I do not want to go back to work. It take you about a week to get back into, dang, I gotta work. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it took me 3 weeks this time, and I'm finally here. 2025. I'm writing the date right on things. I'm here. Feels like different air outside. It's crazy. It's such a weird time, Phil. It feels like the most crazy and disastrous things are happening on a daily basis, and we're leading to next week, which is going to be a time.
Got your boy Nelly gonna be outside.
Yo, I saw that. What's going on here, Phil?
Well, he's a supporter. I don't know if you noticed throughout the election, he supports Homeboy. So
really, I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, he was on stage yelling his name that one time. So
he's on stage yelling his name. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's a Trump guy.
Wow. I mean,
sorry, St. Louis. Sorry, Van Twin Blade.
Start to the St. Louis homies, but thinking about Nelly, his catalog, and the people that really like Nelly, it's not that far off.
What song you think he's gonna get into? You think he's gonna get that Tim McGraw joint off?
It's all in my head. That's not really an inauguration song, but I guess. No, definitely white people's favorite Nelly song, Hot in Here. It's going to get hot in there.
Yo. The idea of him in there singing Hot in Here and like Trump doing this little.
Oh, no.
That sounds bad.
Sounds nasty, dog. It sounds really nasty. Why would you want to take a stand like that? I mean, as Nelly, like, like there's a whole side that's like what, but then there's a whole side that's like, oh, go for it, Nelly. So I don't know at this
money.
point.
That's
money.
What it feels like. It's a money thing.
Yeah, because 50 was talking about that he had been offered last time before that he had been offered money to go on stage, and he was like, I'm good, bro. Keep it.
Y'all not about to do this to me. Y'all not about to try and get me up out of here.
Such a nasty time, Phil. We're going into that mode. I'm about to become a bear in hibernation because I can't handle it.
Yeah. Speaking of bears, the hunt for our new head coach has been a thing. Mike McCarthy is one of the names that has been introduced to the bunch, and I've spoken to so many people here that don't want to see this happen. If you don't know, Mike McCarthy, of course, was the Dallas Cowboys coach, but before that, he was a Green Bay Packers coach.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, there are a lot of Chicagoans that don't want that guy here.
We don't want it. They were on the other side yelling, screaming, cursing this guy's name for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're supposed to cheer this guy to help us win?
We don't want it. I saw this morning Mike Tomlin is a guy that they're trying to interview.
Okay.
That's interesting. I never thought. First of all, it's weird to think Mike Tomlin not in Pittsburgh, but the idea of Mike Tomlin here it just sounds weird.
And for some reason, I feel like he might fit in Chicago. He feels like a Chicago type, you know?
I can see it. The idea of us having a black head coach and a black starting QB.
Okay. Not too bad.
Not too shabby, but I didn't. And it's funny because he's leaving from over there. Justin Fields was just over there. It's like, oh, he's possibly coming over here.
Mm-hmm. Sounds fun. Could happen. Would that change anything for you in Chicago if Tomlin comes over?
I don't know. This team is
need more.
I've learned not to get my hopes up for this team. I mean, at this point, we are heading into 40 years since we won a championship. I have never seen them win a championship in my lifetime. My dad was there when they won their first championship, but not I.
Hey, people still riding them coattails, though. They still like, the 85 Bears, nobody's better. So, I mean, you got that legacy.
They don't have anything else to hold on to. So, gotta hype up something.
They're like, Super Bowl shuffle, don't forget. Like, dog, we forgot, I think we forgot.
What a time. Sweetness, Super Bowl shuffle, the fridge.
Refrigerator Perry, baby. WrestleMania 2.
What a time. What a year, 85. But, yeah.
It's been a long, hard road since then.
I don't remember any of this experience at the time, but of course, revisiting all of it, what a time.
Yeah.
Got an announcement, of course. If you are a part of our Discord, join our Discord. If you're not a part of our Discord, you already know that we started our own YouTube channel.
We did.
That is something that we have been talking about behind the scenes for a while. We finally decided to make the move and actually hit the buttons, click the clicks, and it's a thing that it is officially a thing. We have a YouTube channel now. No, we're not planning to leave Fightful. This is just something where we can put, supplementary content. Sometimes we'll have interviews that we don't do specifically for this channel that might be able to go over there, or maybe some extra stuff we might be able to put over there. I see people all the time like, hey, don't you guys want to just hop on and stream about music or something? Maybe we can put that over there.
Yep. Because we do.
Yeah, still a work in process of all of the stuff we want to put in there. Feel free to drop us a chat and let us know stuff you would like to see on our YouTube channel. But yeah,
yes,
go and subscribe. I will put that link up on all our socials right after we finish this. But it's officially a go.
Yeah, I'm excited about this, man. We've been talking about starting the Grapsody YouTube channel for feels like years at this point, and kind of the ideas that we have. Phil and I'll do some on the street. What's the old BT show?
Hits from the street.
We would do some hits from the streets bits with wrestlers around the country randomly. And now we have a place to house these things on the Grapsody YouTube page. And I randomly want to go live and talk shit or stream something all the time. So I'm happy that we have a place to do it. So yeah, go subscribe to our page. We're excited to start this journey with you guys. You guys are always asking for more Grapsody content too. So shout out to y'all.
Yeah. But you know the deal. If you have any chats that you want guaranteed to be read on this podcast, send us your super chats, and you can also send us your humper chats where we get a bit more piece of the pie. It's humperchats.com/Fightful.
I was like a little bit more peace. Yeah, you're right. It does give me a little bit more peace. So shout out for all of y'all for, of course, sticking around for this last 3 years in this new journey of us going to YouTube. Very exciting things are on the horizon in 2025. See, I know what year it is, you guys now. So, yeah, let's do this. Let's get into a few super chats and then we'll move forward. Our homie Grapple Geekery says, starting a week-long staycation with the flu. Oh, damn. And Grapsody, talk about 50-50 booking. That said, glad to be here, as always, for your dynamite takes.
Appreciate you, bro.
The 50-50 booking thing is really funny, Grapple Geekery. Hopefully that you get better. You don't want to start a staycation and be sick in it. Or, not at work. So that is one positive to that. The homie Van Twinblade says Dak Draper's Boo versus Coco Lane for the crown of the Glory, and Heather Reckless versus Laney Luck for the women's crown at Glory Pro Anniversary 8 on February 16th. 8 anniversaries for Glory Pro. That's insane, man. Such a long time. These years just fly by, Phil.
Yeah. 8-year anniversary is dope. I am seeing people pop in our chat and say, well, what is the link? So I just threw the link in our chat so you can see it. Probably should have done that. As I was saying that we have the channel. Sometimes you gotta be prepared for these things. Was not properly prepared.
Everybody like, you just gonna tease us with that and not send out the link? Like, we need the link right now, big bro. Everybody, yes, subscribe right now if you're in there. Appreciate y'all. Tenruza says, appreciate you too, Van Twinblade. Shout out to Glory Pro. Snoop and Nelly, didn't think I'd start the year disappointed and sad with Snoop. He could have said no. Anyways, all hail the new King K. Snoop's gonna be there too. I thought Nelly was just gonna be there.
I didn't hear about the Snoop thing, but it's Snoop. Snoop is everywhere. Can't say that I'm that shocked, but it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know.
We was up. The West boys are up. Snoop, what are you doing? You can't knock us down some points doing this. But it's like Snoop represents a different demographic. That's sad. You care what demographic you represent. That's horrible. Van Twinblade also says he'll redo country grammar as Trumpy grammar. Trumpy grammar is insane.
No. Please no.
Next week is going to be so nasty.
Yeah, not looking forward to any of that.
Tenruza also says
it's a legend's birthday too. Like it's King's birthday, and we're
can't believe that. That's how we're gonna start the week, doing the I have the dream thing. Everybody's gonna be pandering, and then the next day it's all over.
Yeah. Yikes.
Tenruza also says TNA, it was nice knowing you with the soul. Enjoy the soulless, empty existent going forward. TNA feeder pay-per-views will be something. TNA will become Evolve.
Yeah, we did get the news this week that TNA WWE officially have a multi-year partnership, which we'll get into in a few. But yeah, I have thoughts. I'm still kind of not sure what to make of it, but we shall see.
It's 2025, Phil, as I started this podcast saying. Things are very different in the landscape of professional wrestling. WWE is a completely different company, so I'll give my thoughts when we get into it, but it's going to be super duper interesting. Van Twinblade also says, post the Discord link in the description also.
Here, Van Twinblade. I am now posting the link in our chat. There you go.
Thank you. And then Leonard Aarons III with a very funny super chat. Going from tip drill to MAGA drill is wild as fuck.
Yeah.
What has become of my... We had such an amazing 2024, Phil, and we came on this podcast for 52 straight weeks being like, what a great year in hip-hop. Another great release has happened. This feud, all this stuff. And now it's just not starting off great for us in 2025. With your boy, with this, like, it's bad out here.
We might need Cat Williams to pop back out and cleanse the timeline again, man. Get everybody in the energy of sharing truths again.
Honestly,
yikes.
Where is Cat? We need to send the Cat signal at this point. Like, we need you, bro. Come save us from the world. I saw him talking about, he was on stage talking about the Jamie Foxx special, and I was like, I don't want no parts of this.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, he was just saying like, oh, that's a clone. He has freckles now. And I was like,
no, stop this clone shit, bro.
I know, man. I'm like, you can't do this. Shout out to Cat Williams. Shout out to Jamie Foxx. Tenruz also says Snoop being fed makes all the more sense now. Hashtag NXT.
Yeah.
Listen, as we talked about before, some of your favorite wrestlers would be up there if you weren't going to burn them at the stake.
There's a lot of people that would be up there if they didn't think you would burn them at the stake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of
So,
people.
hold judgment, maybe.
Yeah, I've accepted that people are gonna, support this guy no matter what. So it is what it is, man. Yeah, I don't know.
Take it or leave it at this point. Maruf Ahmed says, thoughts on Big Godo possibly getting the big one.
Yeah, Big Godo will be challenging Zack Sabre Jr. in February for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know if I believe he's gonna win the big one, but he's definitely going to put on a good show at that pay-per-view. No Godo, when the lights are bright, he seems to show up.
Yep. There's a couple of New Japan guys like Godo, Ishii that are legendary, and they're kind of background players at this point. But when, like you said, when the lights are on, it's their time. Big main event. He's gonna come out guns ablaze. It's gonna be a great match. I don't think he'll win, but like good thing that he's in the position. We'll talk about a match like that very here soon in this podcast, Dynamite main event. Here a little bit later. That's all of our super chats for now.
Yeah, let's hop into some of these Humper Chats. Appreciate you guys, as always. Humperchats.com/Fightful.
Humpers. Every time I say Panda. I got bras in Atlanta. What happened to Designer?
Ye stole some of his swag on that record, and people stop paying attention to him after that. I don't know. It kind of yeah.
What a weird time when they were like, "Oh, Designer's here to replace Future," and I was like, "He is not here to replace Future."
No, he was not. I don't know who really believed that, but that was not a thing, guys. Don't let people lie to you, bro. That was never a thing.
Like, their voices kind of sounded like that's it, but he is not doing what Future does at all.
No. Let's get into some of our Humper chats. We got one from Arduit. He says, "Happy Grapsody. Been getting into Kobashi and Misawa recently in All Japan Pro Wrestling and Noah. Talk about being over. Damn. Question: who gives y'all Kobashi vibes nowadays? Who's got the burning spirit and babyface heart like he delivers? Have a good one, y'all."
That's a great question. Fun fact: Kobashi is my favorite Japanese professional wrestler of all time. So this is a good lane for me. I don't know. He's such a unique character. The way that he would chop people, the way that he innovated some of the best wrestling moves of all time. It's really hard to say if anybody today is like that. I think of like Ospreay and Kenny Omega, who kind of encompass those things and kind of take from what he gave,
Yeah, it's tough to say Kobashi. Like, Kobashi is a
legendary.
I
don't know, maybe Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, of course Eddie Kingston tries to wrestle that kind of style, all Japan style,
but
Takeshita
not like
somewhat.
Takeshita, yeah,
I would say Takeshita to a degree. He has that kind of same energy and everything, but they still wrestle very differently.
So differently. They're like total kind of opposites when it comes to like working style, but like encompassing what Kobashi represented, Takeshita probably does currently represent that better than anybody.
Yeah. From Van Twin Blade, it says, Monday starts the next 4 years of hell. Protect each other, stand against bigotry and hatred, be a wall against those that want to divide us. Do this and we will survive. Now cue up the dial-on and let's get this revolution going. Yeah, appreciate you, Van Twin Blade. Again, people, take care of yourselves. It's going to be 4 years of nonsense. We've been here before. We can get through it again. Looking forward to it, but that's his life.
And Phil and I, both of our areas have been in the news recently because they're already starting to do raids and things in my hometown of Bakersfield on immigrants and people that don't deserve this shit. And I just saw that they're going to start doing the same thing in Chicago.
Sorry, Vince Winblade did not mean Dylon. This is my hip hop brain. He meant Bob Dylan. Dylan. I thought Dylon immediately because the 5 best rappers alive are, of course, Dylon, and Dylon.
That's amazing. Your black brain immediately went to Dylon. I mean, you never forget one of the greatest rappers of all time. Five of the five greatest rappers of all time. Dylon times 5. That's hilarious. And somebody's like, Bob Dylan, dog. Come on, give it up.
My bad. Sorry, Vince Winblade.
That's the new Timothy Chalamet movie. I can never say that fool's last name.
Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, he's gonna be Bob Dylan in this biopic that's coming up.
That's the new Timothy Charlemagne pick. I'm gonna just start calling him that.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm pronouncing that word wrong. Biopic, or I see people say biopic. Is it?
Yeah, me too. I need the verdict on it because I'll be saying biopic. I feel like biopic works for me, but then people say biopic, and I'm like, that don't sound right.
Don't sound right. I say biopic. I don't know.
Like biopic is like at the doctor's office.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, it sounds like some kind of procedure.
Right. I'm about to go get this biopic today. Shit, I don't know how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Not straight out of Compton.
Got one more. We got one from Orion Ben. He says, Media Man, Paywall Phil, and the Graf family. Here's to a great weekend until Monday. To that fall on MLK Jr. Day. Ugh. Anyway, if you are Kaisenat, how you feeling about Drake? Once again, Mos Def, K-Dot, and Busby.
He's in the list.
Busby being listed next to those guys is fucking hilarious, bro. Hold on.
Busby has been telling us.
Busby. Aaron Busby. But yeah, he says, once again, Mos Def, K-Dot, and Busby were right about that colonizer. Yeah, not a good week for Drake and Drake fans and defenders. Once again, popping up with some more litigation. I don't get it, man. I think you could just move on, dog. I think you could just get low and come back and make some music again and just move on.
This could be so easy, Drake. Like, it's nothing. Like, just not being outside, not showing your face, and then in 6 months, a year, you come back, you're king again. But instead, you're like, let me attack all these people. Let me sue and add in names of people that were supporting me during this because I am upset about what's going on. Very confused as why Kai and the RDC guys were in this. I'm like, these guys love you, Drake. I don't know why you would even be trying to act like they're here to slander your name. Yeah, when you're streaming with weird fools, man, like it does, like you're not streaming with these guys, you're streaming with randoms, you know?
Yeah. I get it. He's trying to make this point that they made it possible to profit off of his demise or his defamation, whatever. But they're streamers. That's what streamers do. Streamers react to things. Putting the streamers in litigation is crazy. Like listing all of these streamers and like having like examples is like nuts. What are we doing?
On the stream on July 25th, he said, I'm like, no, what's happening here? And where's Academic's name in this? Because he's the biggest, like, it isn't his, this is all about him. I was like, wait a second. If we're talking about streamers, we're talking about people perpetuating and narratives, like, why isn't his name bigger than anybody's here?
Yeah. Academics has been doing some nasty stuff with this Drake stuff as well.
Man,
I'm not a Brian guy, but that was weird. Like all of that, which I don't even want to get into, but very weird.
And you hate Brian.
I was like, this is like, y'all don't think this is like some sucker shit to do? Like y'all don't think this is corny? But all right, I guess not. Apparently not.
These are guys with no morals. They don't care about like him trying to have morals and his good guy image because you defame me, now I must defame you. And I'm like, if you're fighting fire with fire, I guess, but that's crazy.
But I'm gonna defame a guy that didn't make the song that also had like a barbershop show that I was on copping please before, and a guy that plays basketball because he was rapping the lyrics to this and he was at a show. Like, okay,
He defamed me. No, you defamed yourself when you went on there and said that I didn't want to disappoint you. Like you did this to yourself, brother.
yeah,
Nasty, nasty times. Litigation.
litigation.
Litigation. I hate it.
Yeah,
Thanks, I hate it.
Hate everything about it. That is all of our Humper chats for now. Feel free to keep sending those in. You want to start with this TNA WWE partnership, and let's just knock it on out.
Yes, I'd like to hear your thoughts. So let's get into it, Phil, because when this news dropped the other day, I mean, it's not super surprising because they've been doing things together for the last, feels like a year, feels like some time. They've had crossover. I don't know if you could call it that because NXT has benefited a lot more than like Thea Hill or whatever random bottom of the card NXT person they sent over to Impact. But I mean, for the future of rumors that I heard behind the scenes on what Impact is trying to go and what they want to become and how the company's moving and what this moves that we've seen them make in the last couple months, this isn't really that surprising. You've talked a couple times about how WWE is going to use this to get Tessa Blanchard in there and they could wash their hands of this type of thing. And I feel like this is a easier way to get to that, you know?
Yeah. Here, let's pull up their official press release. WWE and TNA Wrestling announced their multi-year partnership. WWE, part of TKO Group Holdings and TNA Wrestling, one of the world's top wrestling brands and subsidiary of Anthem Sports. Today announced a multi-year partnership aimed at creating an unprecedented crossover opportunity within WWE TNA programming for NXT superstars and TNA wrestling stars. That part I thought was interesting because they make a point to say there's a partnership between WWE and TNA, but they also, by the end of that first paragraph, specify for NXT stars and TNA stars.
Yes.
So it makes it clear that the crossover is going to continue to happen on NXT, unless I'm misreading this.
The words you just said are saying NXT people. It's not saying main roster. Like you're not going to see Roman Reigns on a fucking episode of Impact.
No.
Or TNA. Sorry, guys.
Absolutely not. But yeah, so the agreement will enable talent to garner additional exposure across key WWE and TNA programming, including weekly flagship shows such as NXT and TNA Impact and WWE Premium Live events, TNA pay-per-views. Again, make sure they said weekly flagship shows like NXT. Did not say Raw, did not say SmackDown. Very clear this is going to continue to be a thing with NXT. I also don't think it is a coincidence that they announced this at this point 2 weeks before Royal Rumble. That makes it very clear that we're getting this partnership in place so that we can have TNA guys potentially in the men's and women's Royal Rumble match.
What? Like that just sounds crazy to me. As someone in 2002 who remembers watching these $10 weekly pay-per-views of this new random company that Jeff Jarrett started, and through the years at LOL TNA and them competing with them on Monday nights and Hogan and Bischoff and the creation of AJ Styles, like just so many things that happened in there that I never thought that this type of crossover would happen, where they're saying out loud, like, you're probably going to see these people in the Royal Rumble, essentially. You know what I mean? That's just like a crazy place to get to.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I definitely don't think it's a coincidence that this was announced this close to the Royal Rumble.
No.
I think we're definitely going to see Jordan for sure. Jordan's contract is up, so I would assume we're not just going to see her more on NXT, but probably going to sign with WWE soon. Joe Hendry is still on contract, so I think this is definitely the way to get to Joe Hendry in the Royal Rumble. if I had to guess, maybe Josh Alexander as well. Josh Alexander, if you guys don't know, his contract is up February 15th. That's after TNA picked up the option for his contract and just decided, oh, you thought you were going to test free agency. Nope, we're going to pick up that option. You will be here. But yeah, the idea of him in the Rumble, I think, makes a lot of sense because you have a guy that has history with Motor City Machine Guns, also has history with Ethan Page. If Ethan Page is in the Rumble, that would be a nice interaction that you could put there. On the women's side, I've seen rumblings of it. Do you think this is the way we finally get Gail Kim in a Royal Rumble?
I think with how WWE structures the women's Royal Rumble, this is the perfect time. Like, if you're ever going to do it, like, the time is now. I don't know if Gail Kim has any interest in that, if, like, because she's talked a lot about her history in WWE, but would be the perfect timing, if any.
Yeah, Gail Kim very famously left the company in a battle royal. The story of that is still funny to this day. She just eliminated herself from the Rumble because she didn't think anybody backstage would notice or care. And she said, very pointed negative things about WWE since she left. But also, she was at an NXT show, right? Wasn't she at NXT? I think it's Battleground or something like that, where she was sitting ringside.
Oh, that's right.
So I think if you're going to do it this year, if you want to bring back a legend, like one of those legends from the Attitude Era that hasn't been in the Rumble yet, and what you're trying to do with TNA, you're trying to create goodwill between both of these companies, this feels kind of like the year to do it. This also will complete the trifecta of never say nevers of CM Punk being back there and potentially Gail Kim being back there in some way. What a world.
We keep running into these situations, and I don't really know how. I saw this news earlier this week, and 5 years ago, I would have LOL'd. I would have threw this in the trash. But like I said, coming into this, it's a different WWE feel. This is a completely revamped system. Like, it's not about they're trying to bring in goodwill. Triple H is trying to establish this different thing of, like, we work with companies, we're about this, we're lit. And the verbiage in the press release of it's going to be NXT, we're focusing on essentially they're our not developmental, but our third brand that is this kind of indie type different deal is going to collaborate with TNA. Like, I don't think this feels like it's going to be a thing, and they're just going to continue what they've been doing. I'm not as down on it as I would have been 5 years ago because they've already been kind of doing it,
Yes. They've already been, sending some wrestlers from NXT over to TNA. They've already had wrestlers from TNA over here. Masha Slamovich was in the crowd recently. I think that's dope. The idea of Masha being in the Rumble is also cool. But I just don't know what to make of this in general. Like, long term, what do I think this means for TNA? I don't know. We have enough history at this point to make me think, oh, this won't go well for them in the long run, because we've seen a bunch of these other things where this is not really for the benefit of another company, it's to benefit us. And you can look at what they've already done, how we've gotten to use your champion or your most over guys over here, but we'll send you like Tatum Paxley or somebody. And that's no knock at Tatum, but it's like, when you compare it to bringing over Joe Hendry, for example, who's one of the most over guys in TNA right now, and then you send over somebody that's still trying to figure it out, it's not really a fair trade-off. I'm curious if that's going to continue to be a thing now that they've fully announced the partnership. Could this be something where they send bigger stars over there, potentially send one of their champions over there? I would be interested to see that. Again, straight off the back, I don't know if I believe they'll do that, but we'll see.
My only thing is, I said all that stuff about WWE, and as the brand they've changed, the only thing that hasn't really changed in all this is WWE fans who don't watch anything that's not WWE. That's the only, they're going to be cheering these Impact people or these TNA people being over here, and they'll be along for the ride. They'll do it, but they're not going to go watch TNA on Thursday. No. They're not going to watch the TNA pay-per-view tomorrow. That's the crossover that's not going to happen.
No, I don't think this is going to get more WWE wrestlers to watch TNA. But TNA's always kind of had this perception of being a stepping stone for people to go where they really want to be. It's unfortunate, but that's part of the reason why they have a hard time building their main event scene. And so I think we're going to see more of people like building up, and like it's kind of the same as the WWID thing, where it's like, oh, I'm already creating a lane and making relationships to get over there.
It's all happening so fast, Phil, but like they're just doing the monopoly thing again, right? Like that's what this is. Like if around every corner, like we're working with these people, we're working with these people. Well, when are you going to not work with people? Because I don't want everybody to be again under the same system. That's not how I want my pro wrestling to be.
It does kind of feel like do not pass go, do not collect $200, doesn't it?
Actually, pay me $200 on the way because like we got a show to sell.
Yeah, but there are positives to it because you see what this has done for someone like Jordan. I think Jordan has gotten a lot of great exposure out of this, and she's thrived. I think she's going to do very well in the next year or so. I think it could work out for other people. I'm just not as sure how this is going to work out for TNA. But
it's going to work out for a lot of the wrestlers like you're describing here in Tessa eventually. I feel like by the end of 2025, like Tessa's going to be on the WWE
I do think
roster, at least some kind of thing, you know?
I do think this is going to eventually be the way to test the water with Tessa. I do think that they didn't want some of the negative outrage that came with signing her right away. But now if you can be like, oh, we're using TNA wrestler Tessa Blanchard, it's not like we signed Tessa Blanchard. That's a bit different. So I do think this is going to be the way to test the water with her eventually. I could be wrong, but all of those people that were like, oh, this is it. They're done with Hogan. And Hogan has been all over the Saturday Night Main Event commercial. And I do believe he'll be back. He'll be back before April.
He's going to be at Saturday Night Main Event at this point. I'm like, yo, what's going on here? This is the person that they was getting booed all last week. We're talking about that. And then this week, he's still all over this program. What a life.
Yeah. But interested to see how this works out. Interested to see how this plays a part in the Royal Rumble. Because I do think that that's part of announcing this right away before February. Man, if Gail Kim comes out in Indianapolis, that's going to be insane. But it's possible. And the wrestlers she could end up in there with, I mean, she's been saying for the longest if she had a chance to wrestle anybody from over there, it'd be like the Asukas and the Kairis or the Io Sky. So potentially putting her in there with some of those wrestlers, I think that would be a cool moment. I think, and honestly, I know how she feels about the company, but I do think she's deserved that moment in a Royal Rumble for what she represents to women's wrestling, what she represented from that time period in the Attitude Era. I would like to see it happen, but it's always been one of those things where I'm not sure if we'll ever see this. I don't know if these two things will ever collide.
Perfect timing. The only way, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it now. Different company, different circumstances, just like do it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. TNA has a show tomorrow. Like they announced this partnership. Will some NXT people show up tomorrow? I'm sure they probably will at this point if you want to like get it kicked into high gear. It's going to be interesting. Like you said, is WWE going to change how they've been presenting their people over on TNA? Are they going to start sending some of the top stars? Will we see Obafemi show up on the show? Like, I'm curious to see how this does moving forward for TNA specifically.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Obafemi, man. Like that guy, the pictures they put out recently of him with the belt. This guy, he's got that aura, as the kids say, man. He looks like a champion. He feels like a big deal, man. Hopefully the trajectory for him keeps going in that direction because I really like the guy. I think he wrestles well. I think they've got a guy in him that is unique to the rest of the roster. Should be a sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, he was in the crowd at Raw with the belt, and I was like, I felt proud when they showed him. I'm like, damn, you guys don't like. It feels like a lot these days in the Black Champion thing, but like looking like that full, looking $1 million, and they already are kind of into your stick and the crowd's with you and you're the NXT champion. I was like, this is dope, man. Really dope.
Yeah. Again, I don't I have a lot of questions. I feel like it's kind of the same with the WWID thing, where I don't want to jump to conclusions. I have reason to believe this might not work out well for TNA, but I don't want to jump to that conclusion right away. I want to let some things play out first. But also, I don't know. It's just tough. It's tough to trust this company sometimes.
And it's yeah, no matter who's back there, it's still gonna be hard to trust them fully with what we know. But it's getting crowded over there too, Phil. Like they're collaborating with all these people. NXT only has 2 hours a week. They have PLEs, but like, what's the landscape of their weekly show gonna start to look like? They got NIL people, they got people from TNA, they got people from Japan coming in, they got a WWE ID. Like, what's it gonna start to look like over there?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see how they try to funnel in the WWID people, because we haven't quite seen any of it yet. We've seen them do like videos and stuff of some of the people online, social media and stuff. And I know they were in the crowd at the NXT show as well, but I feel like they've got to figure out a way to start moving them in. Maybe they start using them in the breakout tournament. I don't know.
I mean, if Kylie's gonna be the kind of face of that, just insert her there, and she's ready to go right now on any brand, honestly.
Yeah, you can see how. Yeah, you can see what they're attempting to do with Kylie. I think it's admirable, but I also am still in a place where I just don't understand why they didn't just sign her.
She isn't WWE ID. Like could be on Raw tomorrow. Like this is the type of charisma and skill that Kylie Ray has. But I understand. Like I said, if you want to have like a face of what this is, that's a good way to start. If people are like, "What's WWE ID?" and then they see her, they're gonna be like, "Okay, this means something."
Yes, I like the video she put up with all the stuff she's trying to overcome to continue to wrestle. Definitely rooting for her.
Yeah.
It's just, again, strange. I just wish they would have just signed her. I could see them trying to just make sure she's going to be consistent because of her track record with some things. But just sign her. It's fine.
Yeah. It's all going to work out. You're still trying it. But this is what a lot of this can be now with them signing these deals. So they could do trial by trial basis. They don't have to fully sign people. They can work with them while they're in their other companies, see how they function, and see if they can move into the real system.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Speaking of which, we got a big debut this week. Penta made his debut on the Raw on Netflix. I thought he looked great. Not to anybody's surprise, this guy's very charismatic. I thought they picked a good opponent for him in Chad Gable.
Yeah.
The way that they handled his debut is just like they've been doing everything for the past 4 years. Since Cody. They brought Cody in, and it was very apparent when they brought Cody in, we want to push this guy very heavily early on, because not just that, we're going to treat him like a big signing, because he is a big signing, but also, hey guys, you see how we're treating this guy? Look how we're treating this guy. You don't want to come over here? And we've now seen multiple people make the jump from AEW to WWE, whether it be Ethan Page, Sean Spears, Jade Cargill, and I'm of the opinion some of these people with the assembly line they were doing before this would be on NXT, but because you're now
Penta.
you're trying to promote the people on WWE to, again, set out the back signal of, hey man, you can't always come over here. But yeah, I don't know. It's again where I don't want to say too much negative about it, but it's just funny how they're doing it, because it's very apparent that they want other people to see, like, look, we're treating this person well. You could always come over here if you're not happy over there. But I thought Penta's debut was good. I thought the match was great. The presentation was good, coming straight out the gate with the merchandise before he even debuted. They went the route of they went the route of not trying to keep it a secret, which is, as I said on social media, AEW influenced AEW and the way they handled a lot of their debuts from Punk on. They didn't really try to hide it. They came out straight away. Hey, we got this guy, merch on sale immediately. And this is the same thing. They brought him in, had the merch on sale, had the mask, the shirts and everything. By the time he came out, we knew what it was. We knew he was showing up. I mean, even Triple H in the press conference after the first episode of Raw on Netflix saying, you guys basically know who it is. And him coming out, Cole saying the worst kept secret in wrestling. I was like, where have I heard that before? I heard that recently, didn't I? But then also, of course, got to get your shade in. Welcome to the big leagues, Penta.
Like, he's been in like gigantic, not if we're like not even talking about AEW, like, you know, Mexico, like he's been in some gigantic shows. Don't act like, but they have to. I get it. This is the show. This is the thing. It makes sense. Very smart thing that they did here, Phil, debuting him in San Jose. He had his family there.
Yes.
There's a lot of Spanish speakers in there. He got some, after he got to do a promo with the English and the Spanish, like, great, like everything that they did right. The biggest complaint that people had for Penta's AEW run was, what's up with the merch? Why aren't there masks? Why aren't there this? And out the gate, they're like, this guy's here. You can get everything. You can look just like this fool tomorrow if you want to. They just WWE, and they do it different. They set him up with a great opponent. He got to get all his shit in. You got to see like who this guy is. And I love that the perception, not just in WWE, but in wrestling, that's changed. Because it used to be they have this vignettes for a guy, these promos for 6 weeks, all this time, it's build up. Then he comes in and does a squash match, and you're like, I don't even know anything. I don't know why I like this guy. You guys built him up for him to squash guys for 20 weeks, and then eventually we get it. No, you getting right out the gate what Penta is and what he represents. And like you said, if you're an AEW guy on the other side being like, maybe I'm thinking about it, maybe I want to make that switch, and you look on the other side and they're giving out new cars and they're giving out new houses, you're like, it's looking kind of good over there. So it's a great move by WWE, well-deserved from Penta. He looks so excited to be there, just the way that he was talking, being like, you guys were excited about this moment. I've been excited about this moment for a long time. Like, just the perfect crossover luchador, you know?
Yes. And yeah, Sam is right. Sam said in the chat, AEW couldn't get the rights to sell Penta and Phoenix masks. From my understanding, that's why we didn't get the Penta mask in AEW, because I know that was a big criticism of AEW. Of why weren't they selling the mask? Because that just felt like it was printing money. There was so much merchandise that you could have done with that they left money on the table. And you know, I have my gripes about AEW's merchandising, and it could be a lot better, but that was a situation where it wasn't just them dropping the ball. It was that they couldn't get the rights to sell them.
Right.
Of course, WWE, when they do these things, they're going to get their ducks in a row. And to your point, coming straight in and addressing these things that people had gripes about with Penta over there, bringing him straight in, having the merch lined up for him, giving him time to talk in ring, because that was my biggest takeaway. Even because we've seen him wrestle,
we know he can do it.
We knew he could wrestle. We know he's going to come out and have all this charisma, like you said, coming out in San Jose, got a great reaction. Those fans know who he is, but this showed how much I feel that AEW should have been allowing him to cut more in-ring promos, because he was great here, and that crowd was into him. I just wish they would have allowed him to do more of that as a singles wrestler. Also, that part of it as well, people wanting to see him outside of a tag team, and because of the circumstances of you not being able to use Phoenix right away, you can use him as a singles wrestler, and now it looks like you're addressing that.
Wow.
It all worked out in a good way. Hopefully it's consistent. Hopefully they use him well. I don't want another Dragon Lee situation where we're all looking around in a few months like, where is this guy?
He's a Twitter champion.
Yeah.
That's what's kind of frustrating about, because soon as Michael Cole was double with the cap on the entrance, he's like, essentially the next coming of Rey Mysterio, the second greatest luchador of all time. And it's like, relax. Like, I think that Dragon Lee is more of the next evolution of Rey Mysterio than Penta is. And Dragon Lee is on the Twitter show. So, I mean, there's still people were asking this week about someone asked on Ask Grapsody on like if Penta should stay a single star, if they should split when Phoenix shows up, should they split them up, send one to one show, send one to the other? And I'm like, dude, the Lucha Bros are such a dynamic tag team that I think you have to put them together. And just like Phil, I have reservations about a Latino star being, world champion. Like I don't know if we're there yet in WWE.
Yeah. I do think that they've been telling us for the longest they've been searching for the next Rey Fenix. Not Rey Fenix, Rey Mysterio.
Yes, since Del Rio.
Yes, and so coming straight in the gate and Cole doing that on commentary, I don't know how much I buy into it, but they have been telling us this for the longest, that they've been looking for the next Rey Mysterio. And if you're going to get somebody close to that, Penta's not far off. I think in terms of charisma.
His brother's probably more than him, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like in terms of like charisma, you can see already that you can get this guy in a place where he's going to be able to cross over into mainstream the way that Rey Mysterio did. So I don't think it's off, but saying that in his first match is kind of wild.
Like I know you're setting precedents. I know you're laying the groundwork and you want the people to be excited, but like, let's reel it back. And he did have a great showing. He did like prove them right and everything, but like, let's relax. Beyond that, I'm very happy about Penta. Super excited about Phoenix showing up. Like, I think that this is going to be a good fit and a good move for them. Just like the best way you could have possibly debuted him, honestly.
Yes. And I agree. I see people in our chat saying that Rey Fenix is the better wrestler. I agree. Rey Fenix is the better wrestler, but I think in terms of like the optics and the stuff outside of the ring, charisma and the stuff, I think he has more of that that's going to make him connect with that audience over there. Like, again, watching him talk to that crowd afterwards, you can just see this guy is going to connect over there.
Yeah, there was a time where it felt like Penta was the biggest wrestler in the fucking world. When Lucha Underground was popping and he was the face of the fucking brand and he represented something that we hadn't seen before, like WWE is going to lean into that. And I think it's really going to work on their brand. So I'm excited about what he had. Like starting off with this, with the merch and everybody's excited for you get to speak. Like thinking back to, it just makes me so excited that he did an English and Spanish promo. No what chance, like no bullshit. Like I was like, this is great.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I was glad that audience just let him speak. They weren't just doing the what chance or being weird. But again, you picked the right crowd to do that in front of San Jose. San Jose was, they were loving him. I thought it was dope. I thought it was a great first showing for him. I thought that they handled it very well. But again, most of the people that they've brought over on the main roster, they've handled their debut and they've handled their presentation well. From Cody on, they had that low period with Jade where she was not on TV, but for the most part, they handled most of the Jade stuff well.
Every time they present Jade, they present her like a big star.
Yes. Curious where the Jade stuff is going, by the way, because Jade has not been on TV, but now she's back on social media. She's tweeting the cryptic stuff. Don't think it's a coincidence that she's been tweeting more and more cryptic stuff the closer and closer we get to the Royal Rumble. I do think she will be in the Rumble match. I don't think she's legitimately injured. Like, certain places were reporting at one point that she was injured, and that's what this was for. I don't think that was the case. I've always figured this was a work.
Yeah, I feel like she's being primed and set up to enter the Rumble and do her thing again. She's back in, slowly getting back into it. Yeah, I think she probably just was, I don't know what happened backstage, honestly, but feels like she's coming back. But yeah, WWE has been presenting those crossover people very well, like on both sides, you know what I mean? Because like you could even go to NXT and like the way that Ethan Page came in, was presented like a big star, became the NXT champion pretty immediately. Like they're like, we know these people, we know that they have legacies and stuff already, and we're going to continue those things on the show. Just like you were saying about Cody, they plucked Cody from AEW 100% everything that he had over there and put him in WWE. Same song, same gear, same promo, same everything. Like, this is Cody Rhodes that we were seeing on Dynamite, is now we're seeing him on WWE.
Yeah, I think often about what Tony was saying in the first year or so of AEW and how he felt it was important to bring people in and just let them be them. Even Cody initially in that first year or so was like, come over here and, you can be who you are and, paint with your brush and, create the wrestling you want to create and be your authentic self. And I feel like the more and more they bring people over from AEW, they're just like, oh, you can come in with all your stuff. You can keep your name. You can keep your music. We might tweak this and this, but, we're not trying to change too much of what you have because it already worked. And that was not the case 5 or 6 years ago, 7 years ago. That was not the case. You were getting repackaged. You were put on NXT. You were put through their development and their assembly line before you made the move to the main roster. Now you can get signed and come straight over with everything. And again, I feel like that's the pitch. I feel like that's part of the sales pitch now of, look how it worked out for Cody. He came over with all this stuff. It got over. This guy has main evented WrestleMania 3 times, won 2 Rumbles.
Look, you could be you.
Water's warm over here, bro. Water's warm.
I'm kind of upset that it's taken them this long to do this because they're changing the wrestling business, Phil. It used to be a time when you became a pro wrestler and you established your gimmick and all these things, but you're like, but I'm just going to do this until I get to WWE. Then they're going to change me to, or I'm going to have my WWE gimmick. We're going to switch that. Now you can start as something and get to the big show and get to WrestleMania with what you started with in some cases. So that's going to change the perception of so many wrestlers and how they move about the wrestling business now, which I think is going to help it out for both sides. Like, now, like, I could be fully 100% me and end up on AEW or WWE as this person.
Yeah, I think that's partially the regime change as well, having Triple H in charge, because I think a lot of that was Vince saying, "Oh, this indie guy over here, this is he's gonna have him doing the same stuff. Like, change that." But no, so I think part of it is Triple H, but I also think that you cannot say that AEW has not influenced this, because I mean, even look at what they're doing with WWID and how they're bringing indie guys in, and now we're trying to introduce you to them before they're even on the programming. So that doesn't have to be a change. You already know them. Like, we're already introducing you to them with this name and this presentation. So by the time they make it on the show, you already know what it is.
It's wrestling is crazy, you guys. Just like Phil saying, 7 years ago, they would have brought fucking a wrestler in, changed his name, changed his music, changed his gear. You would have been like, who is this fool? This is like Brian Keith on AEW. But things have changed so much here that you can be who you want to be, and it's refreshing and it's crazy, and it's gonna be such a wild time. We go from talking about TNA and the crossover to this and how Penta's being presented. It's like the landscape is so different, and things are they're gonna continue to add different pieces, and people are gonna continue to cross over. Like, it's so interesting. It's wild.
Yeah, in some ways, I think it's great for wrestling as a whole. I think it's great, but
in other ways,
it's some of the same tricks of well, we won, so we get to tell the story. And I saw a lot of this online during Penta's debut. I saw a lot of capping. I saw a lot of people doing the look. He already feels like a bigger deal. I'm like, bro, he's only been there one night, but I feel you. And I knew that was gonna happen because I knew that was gonna happen because that's what fandom is now online. Of look, we're doing this better than AEW, or AEW does this better. And it's like, guys, we don't have to do that. You could just enjoy the show you enjoy, but it's cool.
The reason that's big cap too is because a lot of people say that their favorite AEW match of all time is the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks. I'm like, if you're not presented that way, then why do they have a legacy of matches where we love that were great, and they defined AEW. Like, stop it. And then there's some people saying some wild stuff on Monday. It was like, can't you just say I like this guy? He's great. I'm excited to see more of him. Not changing the history of how he got here. This brand new guy that I've never seen before.
No, we got to rewrite history, dog. Like, it happens every time, and it's fine. I know what people are going to do at this point. So some people I ignore, but sometimes when I'm scrolling and reading these things, I just looking around thinking, like, you sure? Like,
are you sure?
Are you sure that's what you want to say? All right, cool. I guess.
Go with that. That's good. Shout out to Penta. It's so funny watching Raw, watching the Penta debut and seeing in the corner San Jose. I'm like, man, my thing has really changed. I'm like, October of 2021 when I went to that show in San Francisco. I haven't been to a WWE show since then. I'm like, damn, they got all this stuff going on. Penta's debut, and this is down the street from Oakland, you guys. Penta's debut, and they have this big street fight, and I'm just like at home, not there. Interesting.
They was trying to get you outside. They was trying to get you outside for the NXT show in Bakersfield. This time they were like, "Oh, you're not going to Battle in the Valley, man. You don't. Do you know the way to San Jose? La 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 la."
They tried, Phil. They had me on the line. They was laying out the shrimp and lobster for me. They're like, "You want some of this,
like, yo, you don't want to come over here again, dog? The water's warm. Look, man, we got wrestlers over. I heard you like Kevin Steen. Look at this guy over here, man.
We know you like the Lucha Bros. Penta's gonna debut tonight. You should come through." And I was like,
nope. You don't want to come over here.
You not liking it, dude? We got jacuzzis, we got chicken, we got all kind of shit over here. Come through. And I was like, I can't make it.
Oh man. Nah, you sure? It's right. It's right. Come on, dog. Right, it's right here. It's close. It's driving distance.
So close. I could have been there, you guys, but yeah, I can't.
Hey, listen, dog. Come on over here. You bring your Boston beans. Get in here.
Bring your Boston beans. They're trying to change the perception. They're like, we're trying to erase that day for you, brother, but you won't let us.
Vince is gone, yo. I watched the video. You was talking to Vince. He ain't over here, bro.
Watch the video.
I watched the video, dog. Like, listen, man. Get over here, dog. Like, listen. Triple H been coming out every episode trying to let you know.
Yeah, he's trying to let me
I'm in charge now. He gone.
This is my show. He's like, I'll tell you every week, dog. This is mine. I start the show. I do my little monologues. This is mine now. He gone. We doing it different over here. He's trying, Phil. He's like, we got partnerships. We over in Noah. We sent Nakamura to Noah. He's like, look, it's lit, dog. You don't like this?
Listen, I'm gonna really fuck you up. He was like, WrestleMania weekend, we moving it to 420, dog. Get out here, dog. What are you doing? Get to Vegas. Get over here.
He's like, if he don't like this shit, I don't know what he gonna like.
Listen,
this
I
is
know
the
you.
Final straw. 420, dog. Look, like how you can't deny this.
Listen, I know you like flippy luchadors. Look, we got Penta over here. You like weed? Get over here, dog.
You like weed? Next week they're gonna be like, WrestleMania is also sponsored by Hennessy, and I'm gonna be like, you know what? All right, I'm pulling up,
bro. They about to send Natty out there in a minute. Like, yo, you like Penta?
My stomach is hurting, man. That's hella funny. WrestleMania on 420. You like weed, dog? Come on,
get over here, dog. Next thing you know, they're gonna be like, "Hey, we'll take Hogan off of the mat, dog. Hennessy right here. Like, get in here.
We got you, dog. This is for you. Come on." You like hip hop? We got a cool entrance. We got cool music for our shows now. It's lit.
I'm just trying to tell you, Travis on the first show smoking weed in LA, dog. Get over here, dog. Like, what are you talking about? We are talking to you.
They were like, this guy's smoking on the show. Travis Scott, you like him? He makes good music. I'm like, you know what? All right. They chipping away, Phil. They chipping away. Oh, my stomach hurt, dude. That's hella funny.
Yeah, listen, I the idea of them like doing their market research and like, look, man, we we already got the other guy halfway out the door. We got Punk over here, man. Like, get over here, dog. Like, what?
Oh, they buttered you up good. They got Punk and Rollins in a feud. They're like, we got him. Let's start working on the other guy. They are chipping away. Listen, it's a good strategy. They working hard. That Triple H, man, he's a guy. He understands. He gets it.
Let me stop joking before somebody is like, see, I knew those guys were ready to chill out.
Yeah,
I knew it. I know they were ready to go over there.
Yes. Can't have jokes.
These are all jokes.
Come on, dude. We're doing a bit. This is a thing. This is a thing. Amazing. How did you like the main event, the street fight?
I thought it was good. I thought overall this episode of Raw on Netflix was better. Because it was much better. It was more in line with what I think Raw is going to be every week. It was actually wrestling. It was actually like advancing storylines. It wasn't the victory laps and the celebrities and all the rest of the stuff.
That was a spectacle last week. That's why, Dynamite was the same thing. I was like, why don't you present this last week on the first show on Max? They're like, no, we have to tell these people it's different things. I get it, I understand, but this is what, like, if you will pull a show up in 3 months, this is what it's going to look like. So you should present this. But they got to it.
Yeah, Gunther was back on stage. Big Gunt was back on stage talking his shit. That's just, listen, man. Gunther is hilarious because his wrestling style is very straightforward, and his way of talking trash is just very straightforward, matter-of-factly. Him coming out there and was like, you're a funny guy. You come out here and do the yeets and everything, but when that bell rang, we ain't in the same conversation. No, I was like, damn. Basically,
what do you think, Phil? Do you think that Jey Uso has a chance?
No, I think Gunther's going to dog walk this guy. I absolutely think that.
Why are they doing this though? I don't really understand. I'm like, Jey Uso right now. I
mean, it makes sense. He's one of the most over baby faces on Raw. I mean, really one of the most over baby faces in the entire company. Yeah. So it makes sense. I don't think he's gonna win though. I am getting more and more to the point where I feel like Gunther won't be champion at WrestleMania. I don't know if I believe that Jey is gonna beat him, but I think it's a good program for what Saturday Night Main Event is, and you trying to get the appeal of watching him be a main event guy. Because again, he's main event Jey, so you got to put him in these spots. So
I'm hearing it.
I get it. I don't think he's gonna win though, but yeah, I thought that whole segment was really good. Gunther basically being like, dog, you need to go on over there and grab that tag rope and get out my business, dog. I thought that was hilarious. Jay's response to it and him being like, I got to prove myself and all this other stuff. I thought that was great. I thought overall it was a really good segment.
Like, they looking down on me. They said I couldn't do it without my brother. They said I couldn't do it without Roman, and now I'm main event Jey. That shit was, that was pretty good. Like, he got me high forward. And like I said, this guy can't stop being over. Like, one of the most over guys in the whole company. Like, people are over and you like them, they get big pops, but this guy is like the entire crowd's engaged when he comes out. It's crazy.
Yeah. Tony P, always comes out there and gives this, you are beneath me, I can beat your ass. He always gives that King Jaffe Joffer vibe. Like, no, I will not apologize to him, sir. He and his daughter are beneath me. I will not apologize.
Yeah, he has that, like, you don't like what I'm saying, do something about it energy. Like, okay, what you gonna do to me? You gonna stop me? Are you gonna take my belt? No.
No, sir.
Yeah, good work. It's gonna be an exciting show. They're announcing some good stuff for Saturday night's main event. They're going full bore with these things, Phil.
Yeah, except Hogan still being a part of commercials. I like what they're doing with Saturday Night Main Event.
Will you drink Hogan beer if they get a different sponsor? If Cody's the face of Hogan beer, will you drink it?
No. No. You're not going to see me anywhere with that American beer in my hand. I'm good. No.
I'll take an American beer for America. Yeah.
That don't even look right, dog.
It doesn't. It looks crazy.
Nah. I would rather drink the other stuff they show constantly. The Wheatley. I ain't drinking that American beer.
So good, I'll drink it neatly. Yeah, give me some Wheatley. Pass the Wheatley down if we're doing that, because I don't not want none of this racist beer, you guys. This is crazy.
I just feel like every time I see that commercial, I just think of like him sliding the bottle all the way down to the bars at somebody.
Never happens in real life, kids. If you haven't been to
No,
the bar yet, they don't be sliding drinks. Like the bartender will get
no,
so mad if you slide a drink down the damn bar.
no. Bars are very sloppy. You see, like drinks splashed all over everywhere. They're throwing your drink up there. Put your money up here. Get out of here, dog. Like it ain't none of this like cool. Like you think you could jump up there, put your finger up. Barkeep, one vodka, please. That ain't happening. Dog. Take this drink and get the fuck out of here, dog.
Honestly, there's not enough space on the bar to slide anything. There's like the
Hell
mats
no.
to stop the liquid. There's people's hands, purses, phones, and shit. You can't do that.
Yeah. No, that ain't happening.
Barkeep, one vodka, please.
No, that ain't happening, dog. The way they be trying to act like it is in these commercials where everybody's just happy at the bar. No, it's like you're trying to get through a bunch of people to get your spot to go, yo, let me get my drink and let me get up out of here, dog. That's it.
It's not that fast. You got to wait. You got to give them a look. Got to let them finish making the drinks. Like it doesn't happen that quickly. Kids, get your beers at home.
Orion Ben said no to both. He's sure that Wheatley is the General's fried chicken.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
General fried chicken.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Look, there's a bunch of propaganda machines out there, man. I don't know.
Yo, that was it. Like all of a sudden, like I'm drinking Wheatley. Next thing you know, I love WWE. That's big on television.
I can't wait for WrestleMania. I come back. Yeah, I'm staying away from that Wheatley. You ain't
I love WWE. I love Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania, guys.
Eat your vitamins, say your prayers. What a sick world, you guys. But yeah, they're doing it. They're getting money. I'm gonna be in Vegas. Not for that, but I'm gonna be in Vegas.
Yeah. Pretty excited for Vegas.
Vegas, so much going on. Shout out to everybody going to Vegas. Say send some love if you're going to Vegas. Let's get into a few super chats before we move forward. Tanuza says, happy stuff. Shout out Ludacris Juicy Fest here in Australia.
Yeah, shout out to Luda. I keep seeing people try to act like Luda and his music didn't age well. I'm not trying to hear that, man. That guy went on a monster run. He deserves way more flowers. I think that he is extremely underrated.
Yeah, I think people saying that, you could maybe say it about some of his singles, but he has so many dope album cuts that are still super dope that I'm not listening to that.
Nah, I ain't trying to hear that.
Leonard Darrens III says, when this started, I told folks nobody worth anything from WWE was ever going to show up in TNA. Now they have put it in ink. This is officially what made y'all AEW and TNA out only to be worse. Way worse.
I mean, AEW sent their champion over there.
Yeah.
And they sent their champion over there where when he was on top, it's not like they were sending him over there to have random matches. They sent them a main eventer and he was in the main event.
Dude, they were structuring their shows around Kenny Omega bits for a while.
Yeah.
Way different. Hey, what's over there? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say to see how much it changed their show. They were doing the Bullet Club stuff for him to come over there. They're still using the Bullet Club stuff with Ace Austin and Chris Bay.
Yeah.
And he ain't been over there over a year.
That was an extension of what Kenny Omega brought over here. Remember, Scott D'Amore was just talking about that. He said they brought some of the best ratings. Like he improved morale. Like everything went up tenfold having Kenny there.
Yeah, I don't think people think about that enough. That he changed their product. He changed a part of their product by introducing Bullet Club and it being used regularly.
Yep.
Well, it was introduced around his storyline. I should say that.
Right. Shout out to Kenny Omega. We'll talk about him here very soon. Hey, what's over there? Says the Credit King is itching a step closer to that monopoly. I mean, global localization. AAA and Noah are next, I bet.
I don't know. Maybe.
Aren't they already? Isn't Noah already, essentially?
Yeah, I don't think they've put out like announcement like this where they have a formal partnership, but they are collaborating. So I do think the Mario partnership is eventually going to happen as well.
Yeah, that one feels like one that they're gonna announce one day soon because it feels like their whole mission statement off rip was "we're that."
Mm-hmm.
Leonard Aarons III says WWE only works with places they can work. Well, they're the big dog, so every place.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the big league.
Ernie Phoenix 23 says, I'd be like, yeah, I'll enjoy my AEW over here. LOL.
Yeah, man. Listen, just everybody have their preference, man. Just you don't have to argue with people. I'm over here enjoying what I like.
I'm over here, dog. Leave me alone. Why you can't leave me alone? I'm over here. They can't. That's all of our super chats. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Ernie.
They cannot leave us alone. They can't leave anybody alone. I don't know why.
Well, you're being weird.
They can't help it. We are going to get into this New Japan show. Very fun show. And some more wrestling happenings. But before we do that, I'm going to hit you with a word from our sponsor.
BetOnline.ag is the official betting partner of Fightful. 100% of the time when you get the odds from Fightful, they are coming from BetOnline.ag. And it's not just wrestling, it's not just MMA and boxing. It's football, it's basketball, baseball, hockey. They have the earliest lines. You can bet big with the high limits and rebet functionality. They have the fastest payouts with winnings paid in minutes and the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit. They've been trusted for 25 plus years. It's not some fly-by-night company. BetOnline AG has been there. They've done that. In addition, they're trusted by millions. They've got VIP rewards programs and a ton of popular games. BetOnline.ag, that's where I go to make my bets. That's where I suggest you go to, my friends. Please just bet what you can and bet responsibly.
Of course, as always, please bet what you can and bet responsibly. But for all your betting needs, including pro wrestling, BetOnline.ag is the way to go.
BetOnline, get your betting in. There's a lot of great sports and things to bet on. Shout out to BetOnline for sponsoring us.
Yes. New Japan Pro Wrestling is back in the U.S., San Jose, California, for Battle in the Valley. I love that Battle in the Valley has now become a thing. Right after Wrestle Kingdom, they come to the U.S., and usually come with a great show, and this was no different. I thought this was an excellent show from top to bottom. I was sitting looking around like, man, maybe my guy should have pulled up. This was a really good show.
I had a previous engagement, and the previous engagement was not as good as the show was. So just in case you guys are wondering.
Now, when you tell somebody you got a previous engagement, it don't sound like you're excited to go.
No. Previous engagement over New Japan Pro Wrestling? Come on, you guys. Yeah.
No. The pre-show started with Zane J defeating Viento by submission. I did not see this match, but I did see the second match right afterwards. TMDK taking on a team of Fred Rosser and Matt Vandegrift. I thought this was a fun tag match. This was kind of built around the tension between Vandegrift and Fred Rosser, which boiled over by the end of the match, and Matt left Fred hanging in the ring. This turned into a handicap match, unfortunately for Fred, and TMDK picked up the win.
Yeah, the thing that I like about these New Japan Strong shows is they work regionally. So when you're over here in Cali, you get a bunch of Cali people like Matt Vandegrift, Zane J, a bunch of people from the LA Dojo, and to see them feature like this is always exciting. TMDK is just on the run right now. They are in the lights with their world champion being at the helm there. So this felt good to see them there.
Yeah, feels good to see Shane Hayes continue to get his due as a tag team wrestler. I thought that he worked very good here, like we expected with Bad Dude Tito. We started the show with a 30-minute match. Gabe Kidd taking on Tomohiro Ishii. This was excellent.
Can't believe I missed this.
At one point when the show started, because I turned it on right after Collision, and I kept looking down at my watch, like, wait a minute. Well, my phone, who wears a watch anymore? But I kept looking down at my phone and thinking, this match is still going, huh? Because usually when they start the show, New Japan shows, they get all of those little preliminary matches out, and they're like, 10-minute match. This match was 30 minutes of these two guys beating the hell out of each other. Excellent match. Great chops, great near falls. Love this match.
Yeah, for Gabe Kidd to follow up that performance in the Kenny Omega match and being on people's minds and being fresh in there, and the run that he's been having in America here with New Japan Strong, to have such a great dance partner here, and to get to for New Japan to have the faith in you to, like you said, change the format of what their shows usually are and how they're presented, and start with a 30-minute match. That just shows how much faith they have in him. And brother, did he knock it out of the park. This guy is becoming a big match wrestler, Phil.
Yeah, I think it shows that they have a lot of faith in him, that they're putting him in there with the opponents. They're putting him in there, giving him the Kenny Omega match at the Dome, coming straight out and doing the match with Ishii. We know Ishii, when you give him a chance, he's gonna have a banger match every
fight
time.
your ass.
Yeah, he's the fact that he still is pulling out these kind of matches is just insane. But he was fantastic here. They're clearly building this up to be like a series of matches between these two guys. I thought building it around going 30 minutes and ending with the time limit draw, I thought that was a smart way to get to the next match, which would be here for Windy City Riot. Afterwards, Gabe Kidd challenged Ishii to a 30-minute Iron Man match. Can't wait to see that in person. That's going to be awesome.
You're not going to have a previous engagement, is what you're saying.
No, I'll be there. week before WrestleMania, I will be there.
A lot of wrestling coming up, but that's going to be super exciting. But yeah, shout out to Ishii, like you said, still being able to do these matches. Like, he had a bunch of matches in the last year where we're like, oh yeah, this guy's still as good as he's ever been.
Yeah, as Sheldon is pointing out in our chat, Ishii will be wrestling Okada tonight on Collision.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought this was a great way to start the show. This match was excellent. I feel, of course, really great about the future for Gabe Kidd. You're not buying Gabe Kidd stock at this point, buddy. Don't miss the boat, man. Get on the hype train.
Get you some.
Right after this, we got the West Coast Wrecking Crew taking on the team of Rocky Romero and Roppongi Revice. Rocky Romero continues to be hilarious wrestler. Comes out with his he does his theme and everything. These two guys worked very well together. Of course, Rocky Romero used to manage Yo and Show, and so you could see they had the great chemistry. But West Coast Wrecking Crew, these guys are a phenomenal team at the moment. They're a lot of fun to watch. They, of course, cheated to win, but if I was in that crowd, I don't know if I could boo these guys.
Now, Roy and Jor-El are some of my favorite people in wrestling. They represent called the West Coast Wrecking Crew, so you know how much of a big fan I am. And I think they just shine so much in New Japan Strong because they want to get more opportunities. They know that when they're in this show, there's a lot of eyes on them, a lot more than they usually are, so they just go extra hard. I'm hoping to see them featured in some more places moving into this year. But yeah, when the New Japan Strong time happens, they are just locked and loaded, and you can see it here.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Of course, Roppongi Revice took them to their limits, but cheated to pick up the win. West Coast, at one point, that was very funny. They were yelling West Coast at them, walking away, throwing up the middle fingers. Yeah, this was a fun kind of palate cleanser between opening with the big 30-minute match and giving us like a quick tag match.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Rocky Romero, who works great in almost every tag team that he's in.
Yes. After this, we got the 8-woman tag elimination match. The team of Mina Shirakawa, Maika Hanako, and Viva Van took on Viva Van, Azumi, Anna Jay, and Trish Adora. I thought this was a lot of fun. I thought all of these women came across very well in this. Of course, Mina continues to be a big star, comes out, is getting the big Mina chance after the Russell Dynasty match with Mercedes. I thought that also Anna Jay continues to look impressive, ending this match with Anna Jay versus Maika as the last people in the ring. It was clear that Micah was going to pick up the win if you watch any Stardom and how Micah is used. But Anna Jay looked great in there. She looked like she could hang. Just like some of the pairings we got in this match, like I said, I thought this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Anna Jay continues to shine so bright, and you really see it when she's featured with women like this in this match of like, I get to go 100, I get to fight, I get to have my shining moments. She really shined here, but there's so many women in this match that I think in New Japan Strong, they have a little extra to give. Trisha Dora was in here giving it up. Mina is just such a big star, though, that when she's in anywhere, she's going to shine so bright everywhere. And American fans love her so much. You could tell that in San Jose, it was Mina time.
Yeah. Mina's still very over to nobody's surprise.
So over.
But, I mean, like Hanako, when she had her run in there, when she was dominating, I thought she looked great. Took a bit to get her out of there. Trisha Dora in these matches, I continue to say, what are we doing with Trisha Dora on ROH? You should be using her more. She's fantastic. Like I said, I thought all of these women put on a great match here. This was a lot of fun. It wasn't a very long match, but in the time we got out of this, I thought that they highlighted all 8 women well.
Yeah, you know it's not going to be a super long match with so many ladies involved, and New Japan kind of sometimes likes to do sprints in these moments.
Yeah. Right afterwards, we got El Fantasma taking on Jeff Cobb for the New Japan World Television Championship. The Television Championship is, the quick sprint 15-minute matches. This was a lot of fun to see how LP would handle that match format. I think that Zack Sabre Jr. handled it very well with his style of wrestling. So I was curious to see what LP would do here, and him starting off right off the bat doing all of the flippy high spot stuff. Them doing the joke of him keep trying to lift up Jeff Cobb, and he couldn't figure it out. And I thought, okay, how long are we going to do this? And then he actually lifted him up, did the airplane spin, did that sit out move with it. I thought that looked fire. This match ended with a double count out, though. This is going to continue. We're going to get another match. I have to assume that they did that because this is going to happen at a proper New Japan show, probably New Beginnings or some other pay-per-view.
I saw a lot of people talking about this match before I had pulled up the show because they were actually excited about this finish. You don't see a lot of people excited about double countouts. Usually they're like, oh, that's kind of groaning. But when it's a match and feud you want to see continue, a lot of people are excited about this. I think, with the emergence of LP and after what he's been through, and he's been having so many great performances, I think this is a really cool spot for him to be in. And yeah, him just trying to cover him with spot foo and get him off the guard. I think a great way to start. But Jeff Cobb can do spot foo too, so it's going to take a lot more than that. It's a great feud for both of these guys moving forward.
Yeah, I think that the 15-minute match worked because it was a real clash of styles. You can see LP was trying to use his speed and all the high-flying stuff to catch him off guard, but Jeff Cobb is also just kind of like, no, I'm just going to outpower you and just beat on you. And getting him outside the ring into the crowd, and that's how we got to the double count on finish. I thought the finish was very inventive. LP gets ready to get back in the ring. Before he can get back in the ring, Cobb throws an extra at him and knocks him off the apron. Double count out finish. Them pushing each other back and forth and the stuff afterwards. I thought that, like I said, this worked because, like you said, double count out finishes can be tricky. I could see people being like, boo, we came here to see a match and you didn't give us a definitive finish. But this was such a fun way to finish the match that I enjoyed it. I don't know. I didn't see any of that, Mac. Mac in our chat is saying that Trish was legitimately hurt. I haven't seen.
Oh, really?
So I don't have an update for you guys on that, but hopefully she's okay.
Yeah, we could definitely probably get an update in the next couple of days if there hasn't been one.
Yeah.
Hope Trish is all right.
Hopefully she's okay. We got the Sumi Sakai retirement match. This was a very, very this was a very, very silly match at times, but I loved it. Sumi Sakai, of course, is a women's wrestling legend. What she's done for Ring of Honor, what she did just for women in general. should be celebrated. She deserved her flowers here, so I was glad she got this kind of send off here. The story of the match of her teaming with the House of Torture guys, Evil and Show, to take on Hiromu and Mayu Iwatani and Yuka Sakazaki. Tongue twister there. Sorry, guys. It essentially was the House of Torture guys are going to come in and do exactly what they always do the shenanigans, cheat, and try to hit people with chairs. And Sumi's looking around like, I didn't sign up for none of this. I didn't want to do none of this. I just wanted to have a match.
Supposed to be my send-off. I didn't know y'all was going to be here with shenanigans, but she hasn't been up on her House of Torture tapes because they're always up on shenanigans. No, this is kind of what I expected Sumi's send-off match to be like, because a lot of her time in America, she did silly bits and she did stuff like that to add on to her match. That was kind of her charm. And she was a part of Ring of Honor's women's division when there wasn't a Ring of Honor's women's division. Like, she was being held down there and representing when they didn't want women's wrestling on the cards and they didn't want it in anywhere. She was one of the first ones to lead that way. So it's great to see her get a send-off like this, well deserved, and against people that she wanted to be in there with.
Yes. So, I was saying what's happening with Evil. Evil, after his loss to Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom, has been saying, I'm done with New Japan. Screw this company. I'm going to America. I'm going to take part in the New Japan Strong shows. I don't want nothing to do with this company. But also him being here and still doing all the same stuff. Evil's a funny dude, man.
Yeah, when I was like, why is he saying this? What does this mean? People are like, oh, he's going to come with a new gimmick. He's going to do this. And then he just goes and does the same exact thing in New Japan.
Yeah, he's still in New Japan Strong, still doing the House of Torture bits. I love how this started with them beating down on Hiromu before he could even take his jacket off. And the whole time, Sumi is just standing behind them looking like, what's going on here? And they're like, get in here and beat him up. And she's looking like, no, he's my friend. I like that guy. I
wanted to have a spirited, fun contest here.
Yeah, I wanted to have a match with them. And so the more and more the match goes on, the more and more things break down between her and the House of Torture guys. They are not on the same page at all throughout this match, which gives us several funny moments. I thought the way that they played up her fighting spirit towards the end of the match was great. I thought the way they played up the relationships between her and Hiromu, or the relationship between her and Mayu, was really good. Some of the bits with the intergender wrestling, I was surprised how much they let that go on, but I thought it made for a better match.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how they don't really love that in Japan, so them being able to get a little bit more leeway in America makes a lot of sense. I love that Sumi thanked AEW for allowing her to get in there with Yuka in this match and have that be a part of the moment. I think this is a really cool send-off for Sumi.
Yeah, I thought that this ended up being a great retirement match for her, letting her get her moment at the end of it and talk to the crowd and get like a proper send-off. I love that.
So cool.
I would have liked to see Ring of Honor do something for her as well, but this was cool to see, at least on a New Japan show in San Jose. That crowd loved this match. They were having a lot of fun with this. And so it was good to see that. It wasn't like she just went out there and had a match in front of a crowd and they were just like, all right, we'll see you. That crowd gave it up.
All right, we'll see you.
We'll see you later.
Now, big fans of Sumi out in San Jose in California,
Yeah. I enjoyed this a lot more than I expected to. Takeshita versus Kushida for the open weight championship was kind of similar to what I was saying with the Cobb and LP match, where it was this clash of styles the whole time. Kushida's trying to be crafty and target his arm, come behind him, and like there's this great spot where Takeshita tries to go for his knee strike and he slides right under him, pulls him up, and does the ankle lock. All of that stuff was great, but of course Takeshita on a run of a lifetime.
When Takeshita starts throwing those bombs, the match is over. Like, he just has the confidence right now. He just has the look. He's like, nobody in the world could beat me right now. Kushida, with them saying Takeshita is going to be moving in New Japan moving forward, seeing him against some of the stalwarts and some of the people that are legendary in New Japan, I think it's great. So having him in a match with Kushida, get to seeing how Takeshita is going to lock it up with a lot of the other guys in New Japan is exciting.
Yeah, I hope that they keep Kushida in this spot moving forward. I think the open weight division is a great place for him. If people remember, one of the reasons he left the company is because he wanted to make the move up from junior heavyweight to heavyweight. And so this time around, I hope they use him more in these kind of spots. I thought he worked really well here against Takeshita, but also it's Takeshita. Who has a bad match with Takeshita?
It's impossible at this point.
But yeah, he looked great here. I thought, the differing styles in this match really made this match work. Takeshita's just Takeshita, man. Some of the stuff he does, I'm just like, this dude, man. That spinning Falcon Arrow he does that he's made his finisher, it just looks so clean.
It's hard. The way that he moves and knocks fools out, like there's not a lot of people better than him. Yeah, Kushida, he doesn't like him in the junior heavyweight division would feel like out of place at this point. Like feels like he's done everything he could ever do in that division, and it's time for him to do something else,
Yeah, one of the greatest junior heavyweights in the history of the company. He's done it. He's done everything that he needs to do in that division. It's time for him to move on. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Story coming out of this, of course, Takeshita afterwards challenged the Ace, Tanahashi, to a match in his last appearance in the U.S., which will be here in the Mecca of Pro Wrestling, Chicago, Illinois, at Windy City Riot. Very excited for that. Once I saw this was going to be his last match in the U.S., I was like, oh, I got to go. Like, this is days. You can't. It's going to be in Chicago, too. I can't miss this.
Yeah, congrats. So happy for you, Phil. Now, it's great that his last match in America is going to be against the So happy for you. Damn, that's great. Last Tanahashi match in America. Wow, that's wild. Now, this is going to be dope for Takeshita. I don't want you to kill Tanahashi on his last run out, but good move for you. New Japan is going to establish a lot. And Chicago just makes so much sense, honestly.
Yeah, like you said, him because he's signed now, putting him in there with a lot of the New Japan stalwarts, this makes a lot of sense. And yeah, if you're trying to make this the year of Takeshita in New Japan, it's kind of the same thing with what we said with Gabe and Kenny Omega. Giving him one of his retirement tour matches makes a ton of sense.
That's amazing.
So yeah, very excited for that match. Zack Sabre versus Hechizero was exactly what people had expected. Technical wizardry, 23 minutes of technical wizardry. Absolutely loved this match, man. Love the style of wrestling that these guys put on. The thing that I love most about this match is Zach has made a point for the longest that I'm the best technical wrestler in the world. So he kind of goes up to another level when he gets in there with other guys that are considered best technical wrestlers. But in there with Hechizero, and you can see just how different these guys wrestle. It's not like two guys in there putting on the holds. Hechizero is doing the holds, but he's also mixing in the lucha stuff. He's also putting his style of technical wrestling on display against a World of Sports guy. I think, man, it was so many spots in this where it's like these guys are both really, really good technical wrestlers, but they couldn't be any more different.
Right. It's way different kind of styles, way different technical styles. Zack Sabre's manipulating joints, flipping you around, getting your leg in different positions. Hechizero's trying to get you dizzy. He's doing arm drags, but then also turning you into a pretzel. Like both of these guys they've had a couple matches before and they just have great chemistry. It's rare that you want to continuously see technical guys against technical guys because it's usually a lot more fun to see them against a different style guy. But when you get two of the best and they are doing technical moves that actually make sense and not just for the sake of doing them, it hits so much harder. I love that we're getting this kind of variety of Zack Sabre Jr. matches and moments and modes in his championship reign, like because this is how he should be presented as the champion,
Yes. Walker had a great call on commentary throughout this thing where he was saying, yeah, he came in working the Billy Robinson style and coming up, you're told, yeah, this is a great style to work, but, you're not going to main event with that style. You're not going to be champion with that style. And this guy made it. He won the G1. He's champion. Main evented at the Tokyo Dome 2 nights in a row, working that style. I mean, within the span of 3 weeks, like the matches he's had, the Shota match, the Ricochet match, and now this Hechicero match here, it's working pretty well for this guy being like the greatest technical wrestler in the world right now. And I also love the way he won this match, the sequences to, jockey for control, and he ends up winning with the jackknife pin. At the end, he's just like, no, I'm not done. It's the same idea that he's had with the Bryan match where, I didn't tap this guy out, so I'm not done. I want another match.
Him having to continuously be like, no, I have to finish it the way I want to finish it. It's not just I get a nice little pin. Like, I want to prove to you that I'm the best in the world is amazing. Yeah, him being able to, there's so many times throughout his career where people told him, you're probably going to change that style. You probably need to do this. You need to do this. And him sticking, being on the course and continuously being Zack Sabre Jr. and to be exactly where you want it to be as IWGP champion as that guy is so important. It kind of goes along with what we were saying earlier about the WWE stuff. Like, you can be who you want to be for 10 years and achieve your dreams. You don't have to change who you are.
Yes. And he bet on himself. He took a big risk. He could have taken the contract with WWE in the Cruiserweight Classic and stayed there. He decided to go back to Japan, spent the next 8 years in Japan, and ended up working out for him.
Dude, life would have been so different if he would have took that deal.
Yeah. I mean, he could have done some cool things over there, but
totally.
I love that he stuck to his guns, and he's talked about how much he loves Japanese wrestling, how much he loves Japan, and man, just seeing how much that fan base and that crowd has embraced him, it's been dope.
I just can't believe, like, thinking back 8-10 years ago, that it was like Ospreay became the guy in New Japan and then Zack Sabre Jr. followed him up. To know that those two guys are going to be the big gaijins in New Japan and they're amazing is crazy.
Yeah, they pushed him pretty strong at points. He's won 2 New Japan Cups, but I still wouldn't have picked him as the gaijin that they were going to go with after Ospreay and Jay White were gone. Like, it felt like they were going to go on their search for the next guy. But, like, when you think, like, this, like, smaller guy that works a technical style, I didn't think he was going to be the guy. But
not in New Japan, you know what I mean? Like, history shows that he would not be the guy, but that just shows how different, how the landscape of pro wrestling has changed.
Yeah, but it's also just a testament to how good he is, and how, how hard he's worked for the past 8 years.
So fucking good, dude. And he could do a match like this. He did the Ricochet match, was like high impact, high speed, and then he could get a technical thing like this. His next match will be way different. That's what's so great about him.
Yeah, absolutely love this match. The fact that they're doing this, and I firmly believe Bryan will wrestle again. But just like seeing like guys that worked Bryan over the last 2 years in this ring and still like carrying on tradition of great technical wrestling, it's awesome to see.
People keep mentioning Bryan's name. I'm like, there's a reason for this.
Yeah, he'll be back. I firmly believe he'll be back. The main event, El Desperado took on Taiji Ishimori. These guys have worked together before. They, of course, have great history together, great chemistry. I loved seeing the junior heavyweight championship on this stage, getting the main event this show.
Yep.
I thought that was a good slot for them, good slot for these guys. Ending the show with Desperado. Of course, Desperado picked up the win here. He addressed the crowd on the way out. Man, you see how much this crowd, San Jose, which is not a big surprise, they love their luchadors, man. Even during the Zack and Hechicero match, they were hyped for Hechicero, bro. They were up for him, bro.
Yeah, no, San Jose's like you said, no surprise here. They love Lucha Libre. They have Lucha Libre shows almost on a weekly basis. I went to so many taco festivals in San Jose where there's wrestling there. Like, they just love Lucha. It's constantly going. So seeing it on a big stage like this, it makes sense. We just talked about Penta. Like, San Jose loves them some wrestling and they love them some Mexican wrestlers. So it made a lot of sense for them to be in this position. Despy gets a big ovation for, similar to those reasons. They were trying, just like we talked about with WWE, they were trying to get me out of my previous engagement, putting the Junior Heavyweight Championship as the main event. Like, there's a lot of Righteous Reg stuff in this show. This is a great way to end it. I love that sometimes for it to get the precedence over Zack Sabre Jr., who's on the show, just like pretty important for that championship.
Yeah, for sure. And what Despy was coming out of with Wrestle Kingdom. Unfortunately, he didn't get to have the match he would have had with Doki because of the injury and the referee stoppage. So getting to see him in this spot in the main event, well deserved. And like I said, the match was very good. Ishimori is underrated in my opinion. Every time I see Nakamura do that sliding German he does outside the ring, I think the first guy I've ever seen do that was Ishimori.
That's Ishimori shit. One of the most innovative Japanese wrestlers of all time. Like, I love that he's had a kind of career resurgence, changed to a different guy in New Japan. Well deserved to be in his position.
I don't know why. Sometimes when I see Ishimori, I just think of Tamatanga, the way he is pronouncing Bone Soldier.
Shout out to the Bone Soldier.
But yeah, this was a great main event, a great way to end an overall excellent show, in my opinion. These New Japan Strong shows have been getting better and better, and to follow up a good weekend of Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty with this show, man. What's up, man? New Japan fans, we back, buddy. We outside, buddy.
It feels like these are the vibes. This is the stuff that you want to give up. They're establishing the future. They got a bunch of new great champions and things. Like, this is the way. They announced a bunch of great stuff for Windy City Riot. Like, they're going full steam ahead.
Yeah, we've got matches announced already for New Beginning. That full name for the show is wild. Nut presents New Beginning in Osaka is crazy, but sure.
Nut presents, huh? Interesting.
But yeah, New Beginning is looking great. Like we said earlier, main evented with Hiroki Goto taking on Zack Sabre for the World Heavyweight Championship. Looking forward to that match. Looking forward to a lot of the development coming into that show.
Yeah, it's another match for Zack Sabre to add on to his little resume. I think it's going to be good. New Japan, usually, you would think after their big show that they're slowed down, but no, they're going into extra high gear, it feels like.
Yep.
We just have one super chat before we move forward, I think. Devil Kazuya 27 says, I want Oba to beat Ziggler and he's double champ.
I wonder if Nick is going to be on NXT in any way soon, or will he be in the Rumble?
I saw, what was the article? He was talking about something. Oh, he was talking about something in WWE. I was like, does that mean that he's going to be back in WWE? I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
I wouldn't be surprised either. It would be really funny if he just ended up back over there. As a TNA wrestler. That sounds so funny. Same with the Hardys. Hardys could end up back over there.
That's right. I definitely see them before their career is over being back over there.
Yeah. Jeff, did you see some of those Jeff comments recently? Jeff saying he could have been as big as John Cena, or that he wants to go back and have a feud with Punk. And I said, okay, cool. Look, Jeff at one point was one of the hottest baby faces anywhere in any company. People love Jeff Hardy. Black people love Jeff Hardy.
Insane.
But John, I just think every time people mention John Cena being on that tier, at that time when John Cena was the top guy, there was a reason he was the top guy. Nothing was bigger than Cena at one point.
This guy dominated the industry, you guys. Like, every time somebody's like, I could have been big as Cena, I'm like, I don't think so, because Cena was on. There was something in the water. Something was going on. Something, the magic was there for Cena. Like, he came right place, right time. They tried to shove him down our throat, and like, he started getting much heat being booed as a babyface than he did as a babyface. So it's like at every moment he was excelling, and I just think it was his time. Like, there wasn't anybody that was going to replace him. Jeff Hardy was super super over. There was a lot of time, he had some struggles and he went down at certain moments, but John Cena level, not a lot of people can say that. This guy was on top for like 10 straight years, you guys. Different.
Yeah, and I was not a Cena guy at all. Like,
right.
I was not a Cena fan, but objectively, he was just the guy. He was one of the biggest things in wrestling at one point. I do think that with just popularity, if he would have kept it together, he would have been in kind of that same stratosphere as like Punk and the rest of those guys at that time.
Yeah.
But Cena was out of here, bro.
And with the Punk thing, didn't he go on a tirade about how he hated CM Punk? That was all it worked. Didn't he did a promo and he was messed up in like a diner and he was like, fuck CM Punk. And like, I guess he was just working because now he's like, I want to finish my career with CM Punk.
Well, I mean, that's one of the best feuds of his career, especially one of the best feuds of his time as a singles wrestler.
Singles career. Mm-hmm.
So I can see him wanting to go back to that feud. It definitely was a big one for him. But also, it's just funny. This fucking guy, he goes back over there and people are like, oh, it's never going to work. People hate this guy. And I just saw that Drew quote of him saying, we made magic together, and just like seeing what he's done with other guys over there, seeing what he's currently doing with Rollins. And I said it at one point, the Roman match is going to be one of the biggest matches of this generation. And I remember I said it, and some people were like, nope, you're bugging. You're putting too much on this dog. You can't keep this guy down. I don't know how. This guy's got 9 lives. I just don't know how he keeps doing it, but he keeps fucking doing it.
Dog, we came a long way from what you're saying of people being like, this guy isn't going to make it. He's going to go in there and get immediately fired. He's going to be fucking everything up, to now everybody being like, I'd love to work with CM Punk. Oh, a program with CM Punk, that'd be great.
No, do you see that clip of him after the Raw and Netflix main event? He comes back there and he's shaking hands with Stephanie McMahon. Then he hugs Heyman. I was like, "What is going on, dog?
Weird.
What is this?" It's
Weird.
still weird to me that he's back over there for one, and it's working. I don't
He's
know,
shaking
man.
hands with Triple H and Stephanie, people who he degraded, and now everybody's chill. They're all slapping hands.
It's wild, bro. Paul lets out one of the most evil laughs I've ever heard afterwards.
Because he knows the game is being finessed. He knows that this was not supposed to work. He's like, you're coming back, but I don't know. But like, look at it, man. Like, this guy's going to be main event WrestleMania, Phil.
I absolutely think he's main eventing WrestleMania. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Roman match. He's getting a night 2 main event.
Yeah, totally. Because like, I'm thinking, if it's not Roman and Rollins who it should be, then it's got to be Roman and Punk.
They saw them numbers, man.
Yeah.
Them guys was doing millions. And they just had the one sit-down segment. Millions of views on YouTube. Just them in the ring together. Million.
Mm-hmm.
They saw them
numbers, stare downs at War Games. They were like, all right. Yeah,
They saw them numbers, and they were like, this is it. So I would not be surprised if that's the match. Especially if you're not getting a Rock match. You want something that's on par with that's going to be as big. I do think it's the Punk match.
Phil, do we ever get this fucking Roman and Rollins match at WrestleMania?
Funny enough, I think we're closer to that match than the Rock match. At this point,
Yes.
I don't know. We've been chasing this Roman Rock match since, 2018?
Mm-hmm.
2019?
I mean, you could possibly say 2015 with the Royal Rumble thing, because that felt like, oh, then they're eventually going to get to this. Like, we've been teasing this match for a long fucking time.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It felt like last year was the year, and then the Cody stuff forced their hand. I don't know. I don't know when we get this Rock Roman match now. Maybe next year, but
I don't want to say the ship sailed, but if it ain't next year, then it's never.
I'm worried because I just keep thinking, all right, how good is this match going to be at this point?
That's the biggest issue. The Rock's getting older every year, Phil.
I don't know.
And y'all going to try to do a one-on-one match? Like, dog, there's going to be a lot of plunder and a lot of spectacle, but still, like, you got a main event, a big show. Like, the time is ticking.
Yeah, I personally think the Rock Rollins match is going to be better when it happens, and that's why I think it should have happened by now. I think you've had plenty of build for it. They keep playing in my guy's face, man. I just don't. They keep playing in his face. He keeps doing all the stuff to build this match. He keeps building interest in it, and they just keep going with somebody else.
If he can't get either one of the Mania matches that I thought he was going to get, what does he get? Because if he's not getting Roman or Punk, then what the fuck is he going to do?
My wild card pick is that he's going to win the Rumble. I'm predicting he's going to win the Rumble and he's going to challenge Gunther.
Okay. And get it back? Or you say you don't think Gunther's going to make it?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know, man. Because it seems like Gunther makes the most sense. Gunther was the match that they had set up when he was champion, when it seemed like Gunther was going to win the Rumble. So maybe they just run that back now if he doesn't do the Roman match. But because other than that, what is there for him to do? It doesn't seem like it's going to be the Punk match at this point.
Nope. They just ran that. Rollins is going to be tied up with, Reigns is going to be tied up with Punk if that's the case.
I don't think it's going to be the Cody match. So
Nope. Can't be Cody. Because what do you think Cody's going to be with Cena?
That's what it seems like. That's what is being reported. Yeah.
Damn, where does that leave Reigns? Rollins. All these R's.
R's. All the R's. Triple R's. I don't know. I think it's a good problem to have, but I hope Cena doesn't win the Rumble, man. He don't need to win the Rumble.
That's probably the worst case scenario, honestly, Cena, because like it could still be used. Because Cena could come on the next Raw after that and be like, "I lost the Royal Rumble, but I still want a title match at WrestleMania," and they'll give it to him because it's John Cena. Like he can get any feasible way to get back because of who he is. Him winning the Royal Rumble just takes away from somebody else winning, and that's the only problem I have with it.
Yeah, I don't think he needs that win.
But they'll give it to him. They love accolades, Phil. They don't care about what we saying.
Of course. Punk has to be in the running because Punk has never won a Rumble.
True. But he doesn't need to win the Rumble to get to Roman.
No, I think that this favor with Heyman is going to come into play.
Right. Who else has a shot at winning the Rumble then?
Kind of wide open without Cody in there now.
Yeah, right?
Imagine if Roman won. That would be wild. Roman wins the Rumble 10 years later after he won his first Rumble. That would be wild.
They announced this week that he's in there, so...
Yeah, he has to be. The fact that he hasn't been in a Rumble in almost 5 years is crazy, too. But he hasn't need to be because he's been champion for 4 years.
Yeah. He's in the main event of the Royal Rumble, not the Royal Rumble match, though. It's crazy. Yeah, so it's pretty wide open. There's still, they could pivot and do all of these things. Rock could have been lying. He could be here for WrestleMania. We never know.
I don't see it.
I don't think so.
I just don't think he would have made a point of doing all that stuff on the Netflix debut if he was going to come back.
Right.
Because he's completely out of character. I don't think he would have, been like, "Oh, I'm not in character." And then he comes the next day. People are asking me, "How can you just make up with Cody after all of that?" Because I can do what I want. Yeah, we know. Easy, buddy. Like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You're a big guy. Like, I feel you. Do your thing.
People are saying, how could I just end the storyline like that? I don't know. They maybe wanted to see like a resolution, but I hear you, Rock. You could do and say whatever you want, bro.
Yeah, I'd have been like, whoa, you got it, man. Terramana. Ooh.
Terramana.
I start rolling up my sleeve. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
you got it, dog.
Extreme mana. I got it. You out here. Shout out to Dwayne. He's the funniest wrestler of all time.
Hilarious. I do think he's going to be at WrestleMania in some way. I just don't think he's wrestling.
No. They're going to get him in Vegas. With how he's been pulling up to things, I definitely see him there, but not in a match. It's not going to be like last year's build.
No, unless he just randomly changes his mind out of nowhere, which I don't see happening.
Maybe? No. I'm telling you, as soon as I saw the Moana numbers, I was like, oh, this guy's definitely not going to be at WrestleMania. And ain't been seen since.
Yeah, he just started filming the live one too. Well, I don't know if it's still filming, but yeah, what a fun run with him as the final boss. But this is what you're getting, guys. He's back to company rock, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can appreciate the time. We got the networks to watch it back. You got that documentary, like you could relive it.
Yeah. Now they've got to bleep all of his stuff. Did you see that they've added bleeps to all of his stuff from the Netflix episode? They retroactively bleeped him. I keep saying, man, you can't be doing all this cursing on TV no more, Dwayne. What are you doing? It's a different time.
Dog, seeing him get his F-bombs off with the NXT mic in his hand kills me. I'm like, dog, that's on CW.
Oh, you are on CW. You can't do that, man. They're gonna put on the news in a few minutes, dog. They don't want to hear you cursing, bro.
The news is coming on immediately after this, dog. You can't be doing that. This is network television. Like, I could pull that shit up on my TV without an antenna. You cannot be saying this. Shout out to Dwayne, who don't care. So he'll pay that fine. He'll pay the fine for sure.
Yeah. He don't care about going over time or cursing.
We got any humpers?
Let me double check to make sure. Come on, load screen. Humperchats.com/fightful. Send us your humper chats.
Load screen.
From Night Fiend, he says, fix to all of our problems is Kenny goes over Mox. Then all-in main event is Kenny versus Okada, which gives us a consolidation of the titles and the C2. This not only enhances the prestige that's been built, but now it doesn't allow any excuses with most top guys in it. Yeah. I don't know, man. I do think they've got to pivot, though. We've been saying that. The internet's been saying it. I think they've got to pivot. And that was apparent this week watching Dynamite that just not working. They got to move on and do something else.
Yeah, if I do a big groan or a big sigh after something because of what's currently being presented, and not only me, everybody is, something needs to happen, because every week I'm excited about the show, and then they do something, and I'm like, that doesn't make me feel good. Adam Copeland comes out to fight against the Death Riders, and I'm like, I don't really want this, though, still.
No. So, this episode of Dynamite started with Kenny Omega, opened with his big entrance. I did not know that, like I said last week, that he was going to continue with his current theme that he used at Wrestle Kingdom. I think it fits him. The entrance was great. The way that they filmed it with him walking up the tunnel feels like a big, massive star. Big pyro, excellent stuff. I thought the opening match was excellent. Brian Cage does this every time where people are like, why are they giving Brian Cage this match? And every time he gets the match, you see why, because this guy is a worker. He did his thing, of course, and then they did some more building to the Don Callis stuff afterwards.
Yeah, it is always funny every time Brian Cage gets announced for a match. I'm like, why do they like Brian Cage so much? And then you see Brian Cage and I'm like, look, this guy's insane. He's a fucking video game character come to life. He looks like a fucking monster, but then he's doing flips. He's destroying guys. He has power. He's like all the cool things. He's a creator wrestler, like a guy I would have made as a kid. And why wouldn't you like seeing this? And then you see him against a guy like Kenny Omega, and he's a great bumper, a great seller. Like, it made so much sense for him to be presented against Kenny in Kenny's first match. Yeah, Kenny's new theme just makes him feel like a final boss. Like he was talking about wanting to be treated like Roman, wanted to be treated like a bigger star. This entrance makes him feel like that. The lighting and the camera work and everything. It's like, okay, this guy, if I was watching this show for the first time, I'd be like, this guy feels important.
Yeah. Vin Forte is the worst person on earth because now he sent me this Melissa Santos tweet afterwards while I was watching this because he was like, "Oh yeah, it's Kenny Omega and Brian Cage and this I can't repeat what he said." I was like, "Wait, what?" And so I looked up this tweet that he was talking about. I said, "Leave me alone, Vin."
What was the tweet?
Brian Cage, for some reason, responded to this person that made it seem like he's got a small penis because they are like he's doping or whatever they think he's doing. You look at the guy. We won't get into that. So he responded to this guy, and then Melissa Santos, who's his wife, responded and was like, "Well, no, everybody knows that, and then proceeds to compliment this guy's penis, and I was just like, "Oh, great."
She said, "Everybody knows," because I don't need to know that.
I definitely don't need to know. The wording that was used in this tweet that I'm not going to repeat because it sounds crazy saying it out loud, but I was like, what? Such a wild tweet. I was like, what is
it's kind of like what we were talking about on Ask Grapsody with Dipset and Cam. What is the need for these people to prove to these random
didn't have to
internet
respond
people?
to this.
Like, you don't have to prove that to nobody.
You'd have to respond to this. And Melissa's tweet is very funny out of context. I was like, what? Mm-hmm. This is an old tweet if people are like, it's not a time. It's an old tweet, but Vin Forte, because Vin is Vin, sent me this tweet, and he was like, remember this? And I was like, oh, I do. I forgot about this. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
There was a time when Melissa was fighting for her man where I was like, all right, I see what you're doing. You should, but what?
Listen, man, stand by your man.
Straight up.
Man, where's Melissa? Melissa used to be so fun during the pandemic when she was doing the Impact on Twitch stuff. Mm-hmm. Different time. Impact used to be on Twitch.
Yeah. Going from that to now being partners with WWE. What a time, Phil.
Different time, man. Pandemic was a wild time. Wild West, man.
Dude, that was so weird. I was thinking about the Thunderdome and people were on the screens. Was I on one of the Thunderdome screens one time? Like, that was so weird, man. You could be in the crowd virtually. Like, what are we doing here?
I just remembered somebody that was on a Thunderdome screen, and we haven't seen him anywhere in a long time. Yeah. Haven't been mentioned anywhere. I was like, oh, whatever happened to that guy?
Remember, some people just were fixtures and then they're just gone forever into the abyss, never to be seen again.
Yeah, ain't heard nothing from that guy since then. It was funny when all of that happened. One, I had just seen the guy in person. Like, I feel like I was sitting next to him somewhere. I had just seen him, and then he had just done an episode of Wrestle Rap like a day before that. And so Emilio was just talking about, he was just on the pod. I was like,
I had just seen him. Is hella funny.
Damn, I was just there.
That was last week I had seen this guy. Listen, they'll come for you.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of that this week. When it's your turn and they're ready to get you up out of here, they will try their best to get you up out of here.
Yeah. But sometimes people force it to be their turn. That's the bad part. It doesn't have to be your turn right now.
Sometimes you can just be quiet. Sometimes
Get
you can shut up. It's cool. Sometimes you can shut up. Shutting up is underrated, dog.
Dude, shutting up is the most underrated thing of all time. Putting it down, putting your phone down, and just leaving is hella underrated.
Yeah. Now that we've gone off on this Twitter tangent, Brian Cage versus Kenny Omega was very fun. I enjoyed this. I loved all the developments afterwards. Don Callis is one of the funniest human beings in the world. The way that he was laying into Kenny Omega when he was on the table,
he was giving it up,
getting his licks in, even after the match, the way he was stomping on him, very, very funny. Will Ospreay came out and came to the aid of Kenny Omega after this match. Well, actually, before that, Takeshita comes down with his big long leather jacket and his belt, and he puts the belt in Kenny Omega's face, and he pushes the belt side of the stage, starts putting hands on him, and that's what leads to Ospreay coming out to help him. It sure seems like this is leading to Kenny Omega and Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita, which sounds like an excellent tag match.
What? You think this is potentially for that Grand Slam Australia show, right? That could feel like it could be a nice natural transition, because I feel like for Revolution they could potentially be building towards Takeshita and Kenny, right?
Yes, I think the end goal for this is Takeshita versus Kenny too. But if you want to get Kyle Fletcher on that card in Australia for Grand Slam, and you're not going to use Aussie Open, this feels like the match to do that with. And that's probably going to be an excellent match.
The four of them, these people are all go 1,000 miles per hour. Kenny's back trying to prove himself in this new crop of talent, essentially. Insane.
Yeah, and that goes into what we're saying with how once Kenny came back, it's like, hey, I kind of just want to see that, because the match was fun. All of the story developments afterwards, I really enjoyed. Even, when he first came back and Don came out, I was like, oh no, Don again. But I've loved it so far. I think it's great.
Yeah, the way that Don's getting his extra licks in and going extra hard is adding to it for sure.
No, at one point when all of us were looking around like, I'm kind of tired of Don Callis, I don't think it was Don. I think it was the feud he was in with Jericho. I don't think that Don is a bad heel manager. He's been great at it. It's just he was in the mix with a feud that went on for way too long.
Yeah, because it felt like at that time I was like, damn, it's too much Don Callis. But no, it's not too much Don Callis. He knows exactly how to present himself as a manager. He knows when to stay back to let his guys shine. Like, he's great. Yeah, he was mixed up in some shit. He's one of the best managers in wrestling.
Yeah. I thought the stuff that I really liked from this episode of Dynamite, I really liked like the tag match with Hurt Syndicate versus Private Party and Mark Briscoe. Enjoyed that. MVP back in the ring. First match with AEW. I like how they introduced the idea that he's going to be wrestling with his vignette he had where he's sitting at the bar, and then the bartender all of a sudden puts his boots on. Puts his boots on top of the bar out of nowhere.
Amazing stuff. I like that vignette a lot. Him and Sheldon are just drinking in there. He just looks like a boss. Really dope stuff. Again, I have to say it on every podcast. Their theme, "We Hurt People," is the hardest theme right now. I'm trying to find a better one, but right now that shit gets me going. I stand up in my room punching the air and shit to that shit. But yeah, great to see these guys together. It looks like they're setting up Hurt Syndicate to potentially win the tag team championships. How you feel about that, Phil?
I feel like it's too soon to take the belts off of Private Party, but I do think they've taken some of the win out of their sales. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be mad at it if it means that we go back to Private Party at some point, because you've got a hot act in Hurt Syndicate. So it feels like you've got to do something with them. It feels like they should be in the main event angle, honestly.
Yeah,
just as hot as they are, but very crowded with other guys at the moment. But yeah, just seeing what West Side Gun is doing currently as well. Like this song is getting off that every time it's played and you get the crowd chanting "We Hurt People" in rhythm. It sounds really dope. And then more and more I'm seeing at these shows, whether it be here, NXT, I'm seeing a lot more Fourth Rope shirts. I don't know if you noticed that.
I have noticed that. I think I was watching. Oh, it was NXT, and they shot to Joe Tessitore, remember, and somebody behind him had a Hills have. I'm like, dog, this is everywhere. This is crazy.
And Joe Tessitore was pointing to the guy wearing the shirt. He kept pointing to the logo. I was like, yo, Fourth Rope is outside, dog. Like, I'm telling you, not just seeing it on TV. More and more when I go to shows, I'm seeing more and more Fourth Rope merch.
No, it seems like legit every wrestling show that I watch, from fucking the top of WWE to the random indie, you're going to see some kind of Fourth Rope shirt, a sign or something.
Yeah.
It's becoming a thing, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Of course, we got the announcement. Fourth Rope will be taking over the For the Culture show for GCW during WrestleMania weekend. Very much excited for that. I'm planning to go to that during WrestleMania weekend. The Heels Have Eyes show here was so fun. That's going to be a fun show in Vegas.
In Vegas, 420 weekend, brother. You guys, Fine Righteous Reg, the highest you've ever seen him in your entire life at that show. So excited.
Yeah, very excited for that show. I think you said there's going to be an Ashe show that weekend as well.
Yep. We're going to have a good time out there, you guys. Very exciting. But the Fourth Rope show, them taking over For the Culture and what that's represented for me specifically for so many years now, it's important. I'm so excited.
Yeah, very excited for that one. But yeah, Hurt Syndicate continues to be very fun to watch. This Max and MJF segment. I liked the segment last week, so I was like, they might have something here. Because I enjoyed the segment last week. This week it started, and I was saying, okay, still on board with this. The longer and longer it went, I was like, nah, wrap it up. Get. No, this felt like
cut all this off.
Cut it off. No, cut it off. This went on for way too long, and the promos themselves, I feel like the longer it went, the more I was like, I don't need this. Like, I don't need you calling his girlfriend a whore and all the rest of this stuff, bringing up his mom being a call girl.
Your mother's a whore. What kind of promo is this? I don't want to hear any of this. Like I said before, we saw MJF's parents in the crowd. We already have a relationship with them. We know that's not the vibes that his mom gets up. We all know who MJF, or not, maybe not all of, but a lot of us know who MJF's girl is. We've seen her on wrestling shows before. We have a relationship with her as a creator. We don't want to hear Jeff Jarrett, who's supposed to be the baby face in this thing, saying this.
Yeah, I mean, I did think it was initially funny when he first mentioned his mom, and you could see like how big Max's eyes got, and he was like, "What did you just say?" Very funny reaction to it. But the longer it went on, I was like, "No, I don't need this on modern wrestling television. I think we're good."
I'm just like, why are there two men and it's their disses are how women are whores or call girls or whatever you want to call them. This is a bad look, you guys. This is a national TV show presented and two guys are in here talking about call girls and stuff. I don't like this. I didn't like it at all. I think it sucked. I thought there were bits in this that Max locked in and he started to talk about who he was. And I was like, oh yeah, this is the MJF I like, but this, like, he's always done the low-hanging fruit stuff, but like two of you guys doing it, trying to out low-hanging fruit each other.
Yeah, it was too much. I thought where the promo was good was when Max was like, no, you're the Grim Reaper. When you show up in these companies, that's the start of their demise. Like you're a leech. And regardless if that stuff is true, I thought those bars were pointed. Even when he was talking about, even when he brought up Karen before it went all the way off the rails, I thought all that stuff was fine. But like I said, you could have cut like half of this promo. You could have cut 7-8 minutes off this promo, got straight to the Owen stuff and the pull apart, and it would have been fine. Because I thought ending it with the Owen stuff was good. You just took too long to get to that.
And it seems like it's funny, you like know Jeff Jarrett's age because he kept saying call girl. Like, who says call girl? First of all, like, no, nobody even like that's not even a term that people use.
Think about that.
Your mom's a call girl. Who the fuck says that? Like, are we like in the 40s? Your mom's a call girl. See, that dame is never gonna. I'm like, what are you saying? That dame is never gonna get over there, huh?
That dame. Hi, dame.
I'm like, what is this? This doesn't even like connect as hard as it's supposed to. But yeah, like I said, there's bits, the Karen stuff, calling out Kurt Angle, all that good stuff. But then they just got too deep in the weeds. You guys, calm down.
It just went on for too long. And then when you looked at other things that deserved more time, and this thing was as long as it was just like, what are we doing, bro? Like,
you could have cut 7 minutes from this for sure, Phil.
Yeah.
At minimum. And the women's match that coming up that deserved all of this time in this fucking promo, it made the promo even worse for me.
Yeah, no, it went on for way too long. And it was this and the Jericho stuff. I was like, we don't need to do this anymore. It's cool. We can move on from this.
Phil Hammerstein, we're out of there, right? We're not going back. We're not talking about it. No more New York is in the horizon. So what's up?
Why is he still doing the New York Minute? That's what I said, and people were like, because it's funny, and I said, is it?
Is it?
I don't know. Yeah, very, very polarizing episode of Dynamite in some ways, because the highs were very high. The stuff that I really liked, like the Swerve and Ricochet stuff, loved it. Ricochet coming out, and he's produced another meme of him pointing at the
Pointing at him.
Pointing at himself on a Titantron, very funny. That crowd giving it up to him every time he tried to say something. Good stuff. Nana coming out behind and hitting him with the chair and dancing over him while he's on the ground in agony. One of the funniest things I've ever seen, man.
No, Nana dancing while trying to motion Swerve out. It's fun. Doing the dance. Come on, Swerve. Doing the dance. Come on, Swerve. I thought that shit was
Hilarious. Just the way that Ricochet sold the chair shot, he's just like, and the whole time just dancing over his grave. So funny. Swerve coming out again, feeling like the most dangerous guy in the world once he's wronged. All of that stuff, loved it. I think what they're doing with this Swerve and Ricochet feud is some of the best stuff on the show.
Yes, exciting. They announced a big match for February 5th in Atlanta. Like, there's a goal. They're establishing the story. They're telling it. Ricochet's continuously getting over. He's getting more heat as a heel. Like, everything here is working for me.
Yeah, no, Pile Driver got exactly right. Ricochet on the ground doing the Peter Griffin bit.
Yes.
All very funny. And even like the stuff I liked about the women's match was great. I just wish the match was longer. They should have given the women more time. And I think giving the women the casino gauntlet right after the men had theirs, and you saw the drastic difference with the amount of time they had. I think there was 11 men in that one, and there was only 7 women in this one, for example. And some of the women that weren't here was kind of like, okay, well, where's Diana? Or
Thunder.
Where's Thunder Rosa? Where's this wrestler? It was frustrating, but it was also just frustrating because the MJF stuff went on for so long, and it felt like you could have given some of that time to the women, or at least given time to allow the ending of the Battle Royal or Gauntlet, to breathe, because I felt like it went too fast from Tony's the winner to, all right, let's move on to the next thing. It felt way too rushed.
Even her win was too, like, she just a quick roll up and let's get out of here. Like, it all felt like pretty rushed. That was the only gripe I had about this women's match, though, because there were so many other positives about it. I'm like, if you look at it in a vacuum and you see these amazing women, Chris Statlander, Willow, Toni Storm, debuting Megan Bayne, Jamie Hayter, like, these are tremendous top women of the federation. Like, you can build the division off of these contenders moving forward. Like, I felt good about the division, seeing Megan Bayne in there locking it up with Stat, seeing her locking it up with Willow, seeing her locking it up with Jamie Hayter. I'm like, this is badass. Like, this is going to be great. And the sequences, a lot of it, like, I'm sure it went along with them knowing they don't have that much time, but they were fighting, they were going for it. Like, it felt like a struggle. Like, if it would have been so much better, though, if they would have gave them fucking 7 more minutes. Like, if they would just added some time for it to breathe, get along. It doesn't feel like everybody's rushing. Because when the finish happened, I was like, that's it? Like, that was like, Tony came in, she got her big pop, got her house of fire, and then it was over. Like, it felt like I wanted more,
Yeah, and you had Mariah on commentary. The stuff that I feel like you could have done with that if you had more time.
Right. No stare down?
Yeah, you didn't have Mariah at least stand up with the belt or anything. It just immediately moved on. Like, how you feel about wrestling Tony? Well, I don't care about Tony. Like, what do you mean? You guys had like a long feud. Like, this was a big part of your coronation as champion. But Mariah was also really good on commentary. I thought she was very funny.
Great storytelling.
Initially, when she came in and sat down and she goes to Taz, you're back. Now that you have a new knee, you want to roll around with me? And he's like, happily married, no thanks. And then she goes, I meant in the ring. And he goes, no, I'm retired. Let's move on.
That's just like, leave me out of this. I mean, I'm just trying to call this match.
You are not about to get me in trouble. You're not about to have my wife call me. Leave me alone.
No, she watching the show because her son's on here.
Yeah, and Hook had a match tonight. Leave me alone. Like, I can't.
I need to focus.
So yeah, she was very funny. I thought the way that she put over Megan Bayne when she came out was also great. That was handled very well. Yeah. I thought finally seeing Megan Bayne here in a big way. Of course, she was on Dark and she's had appearances with the company. I think she was on a tier deal. I'm not sure if she's still signed, but I thought it was awesome to see her, like you said, in here mixing it up with the crop of women she was in here with. I was kind of disappointed the crowd didn't give her a bigger reaction. Yeah. But it might be that some people don't know her as well.
Some people don't know her.
I was excited just watching her from indie stuff, and you could see the potential there, the stuff she did in Japan. That match we saw in person at the Stardom show during WrestleMania weekend with Julia was excellent. I think she's vastly improved since her time in New Japan. Stardom. And the presentation is there. You can see it with the entrance. Like, she got the big like headdress and everything. They've got something with her, and I hope they understand that.
Yeah, I've seen her a lot recently in GCW. GCW has been pushing her pretty heavily. They have her in a lot of like intergender matches. They have her like in these big positions, and she shines so well, man. Like she doesn't have to do anything too crazy because like she's bigger in stature and like her presence like takes up for a lot of it. So when she does get into it, it feels like a big deal. That's what like the crowd didn't give it up as much as I wanted them to, but AEW themselves presenting her like that, like it felt like the Kenny Omega thing again. Like if you just watch the show for the first time and you see Megan Bayne, you're like, damn, who is that? Like she's presented well. She gets out there, she starts firing on people. You're like, damn, who is this? Like she felt like a really important figure in this match, and she's just debuting.
Yeah, I thought that they nailed the presentation to have the women's champion. Like, well, who is this? Like, is she even signed here? Does she even go here? I thought that was a good look for her. And she came in and worked very well with the wrestlers she was in there with. Statlander, Willow looked great in there. Like I said, I wish she would have gotten a better reaction, but you could see the shift in energy from that crowd when certain wrestlers were getting out there. Once Willow came out there, that crowd was into Willow. Crowd was into Statlander because of her recent matches, but Tony is Tony. Tony's one of the most over wrestlers in the company. So when she got out there, crowd was very much up for her. The energy for the match changed. The crowd got into the match more, and that's why I said if it went longer, I feel like it would have gotten even better reactions the longer it got. It just felt like it was just starting to get going, but when it just like abruptly stopped.
Yeah, just because, like I was saying, as soon as Tony got out there, she got the big pop. She starts firing off, then it's over. Like, she didn't even get to, like, if she would have got some time with Willow, got some time with Stat, got some time with Megan to really kind of breathe and get them. WWE's good at this thing, and, like, where they tease, like in the Royal Rumble, you're going to see Jacob Fatu face off with 100 Fools, and they're all going to hit really hard. Like, they do those big, like, they're not doing a match right now, but the potential of the match happening stare down is so important, and we just didn't really get into that. Like, just needed a little moment for it to breathe. That's all. But that was the complaint that coming out of the match online. Everybody was like, I can't believe this match didn't get enough time. Rightfully so.
Yeah, and it looked even more glaring because you gave this promo MJF and Jeff segment so much time, and then you had like some misogynistic, sexist stuff in there, and people were like, "Ew, you did that," and then this is what you do with your women on the show. Yeah, wasn't a great look.
One. Yeah,
not a great look, but I thought that this was a very fun match with the time that they were given, that I really ended up enjoying like some of the interactions with all these women. Willow getting that great dive off of the apron, rolling into that pose. Very, very funny stuff. She's great. All of the stuff that we got, even Jamie Hayter, like mixing it up in there. Like there's such a great crop of women here, man. There's so much potential here. Julia in the mix, but I just wish they had bit more time. That's it. But
Yeah.
and I think Tony was the right winner. If you're gonna
Yep.
build to the match in Australia, I think that makes the most sense. Of course, Tony is from Australia. I feel like that's probably going to be the main event of that show. If it's not going to be, it should be. But like I said, if you're going to get that moment of her still doing the rookie Tony Storm thing, and you have Mariah out there at commentary, you couldn't at least get Mariah standing up at commentary with the belt up, something like we had to rush immediately to the next thing.
Yeah, it was kind of frustrating, but I mean, we kind of knew that a lot of people had predicted that Tony was going to win this match just with the circumstances. So it was kind of a predicted outcome. But I think, we're already kind of full steam ahead moving into that Grand Slam show. It's only a couple weeks away at this point. If you want to build a big match without having to tell a crazy complete story, this is the way to do it. It makes a lot of sense. So I'm really excited about the match, like the potentially being, the big moment in that show. I think is going to be pretty important. Yeah, just like I said, the future of this division, I'm super excited about it coming out of the match, but them still getting the 6:30 death slot and not getting enough time is not that refreshing.
Yeah, I almost wish that they had opened with the women. I understand why they opened with Kenny, but I think opening with the women and giving them more time, it probably would have hit better.
Yeah, because we were doing the watch along, and like as the show was going on, I'm like, okay, they're still not putting this women's match on. That's not a good sign. As the show kept going on, I'm like, the farther this show gets in without this match happening, it's not a good sign. And it was even more apparent as it happened. But yeah, it would have, like Phil said, if they just did this women's match and it went this amount of time without the MJF and Jeff Jarrett stuff, it probably would have felt different. But it coming after women were probably offended watching this show, and then doing that did not help at all.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely saw women on the timeline, on the skyline, complaining about the compounded issue of these two things, what they did with the women in the match and that segment. They were not happy about it. Also saw a lot of people that were not happy that Deonna was not in this match, and I agree.
Yeah,
I think that they've definitely dropped the ball with how they've utilized Deonna so far. This was definitely a place where you could have put her in. It's not like you needed to do much. Like, just at least put her in a match. Like, I didn't understand why she wasn't there, especially with how much she's done on Collision. I didn't get it.
I don't understand what they're doing with Deonna, Phil. Like, since she's came in, I was like, great signing. Like, she can. This is a woman that can work with everybody. She's a proven champion. She's a proven worker in this division, and she just, like, it feels like they fake gave her an opportunity, or like it's like they set her up when she got in, but they didn't really give her a time to establish herself before setting her up for that. You know what I mean? And I still think they're not giving her the space to really do what she needs to do in order to really excel.
Yeah, I don't get it. Her time in Impact was just, it was so good. It was instrumental for where the Knockouts division ended up going once she was gone, and
yeah,
I just don't get it. I don't get why they're not using her more. Like,
she reestablished the division in TNA.
Bro, she was doing the double champion thing and everything before, and I thought, like, you've got somebody now that's holding multiple championships on your company on the main show. I thought that would be the thing to kick off that feud. I thought that made the most sense to eventually get to Mercedes versus Deonna, and no, nothing's happening so far.
Yeah. And I also had, like, somebody was like, who are some surprise entrances you could see in this match? I was like, Athena would be great, but like nowhere to be found.
Is she still in Japan?
Oh, she was in Japan at that moment. Yeah. Well, I think she's back now.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just, I mean, like, there's some positives, there's some negatives. I don't know which one outweighs more, but these are easily fixed things, I think. So
yes, and that's why I'm saying the things that I liked about this show, man, very polarizing, like I said, because the things I liked, I was like, okay, but why did you do that though? Like, you could have, or why are we still doing this? Like, why is this still a thing? Why haven't we moved on from this? Because it's very clearly unpopular, which gets us to our main event. The main event itself, there were a lot of things that I liked about the main event. I liked the way that they presented Hobbs in this. Hobbs felt like a big monster that Mox had to survive. It wasn't like he just beat him convincingly. It took a lot to put him away. They had to cheat to beat him. And I thought that made Hobbs look even better in defeat. But well, before I get into the negative stuff,
Yes.
even Mox coming out and having his same presentation and entrance of coming from outside and walking through the crowd with Marina behind him with the briefcase, I was like, nah, this looks dope. He's still Mox is still that guy. Yes, Mox is still that guy in his hometown. Great reaction for him. Great atmosphere for this main event. And like I said, the match itself, I really enjoyed the match. I really enjoyed how good it made Hobbs look, but the stuff afterwards, I could not care less.
This was talking to people and Denise and you coming into this match. We never really expected Hobbs to go over and become the world champion. I think more just like him being in the position, him winning the match last week, him getting this opportunity was what really was going to be the win here. And I thought there was a lot done in the match that made me even happier out of it. Like, I think Hobbs came out of this looking strong. There was a spine buster false finish spot where I was like, hey, let's go. We lit out here. Like, it felt like they really kicked into high gear. Hobbs didn't look like some jabroni out there getting a title match. He looks like there was moments where he could have won this. Like, they got me with the Yuta shit. They got like everything. Like, I was into the match. And so I was like, damn, this really helped for my big homie. The crowd was in it. There's meat chants. Like, he's out there going 100 miles per hour. Great shit. And so he loses, and at the valiantly, great effort. And so they start beating him up. And I'm like, Denise is just like, does he have any friends? Does he have any friends? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, he hasn't really, as a character, he hasn't really made a lot of friends. Like, all the factions that he's been in, he's kind of burned the bridge to get out of there. So it's like, he doesn't have a lot of friends. And then Copeland and FTR saves him. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. But it was already kind of connected to the 12-man tag match that they had announced earlier this week, Phil, that people were not happy about.
I forgot about that 12-man.
Because when they had announced that, somebody was like, well, this already gives away the ending for the Dynamite match, because you just know that FTR and Cope are going to save Hobbs. And then that's exactly what happened. So I was like, oh, this isn't.
Yeah. Man. I think the thing I enjoyed the most about the main event, we talked about this last week, and even on Ask Grapsody, of how it feels like this got back to what the storyline was supposed to be with, elevating guys that are underutilized. And I feel like that was supposed to be like the core of this storyline. And after it was over and he's out there getting beat up and they put the belt on, the chair on him, and it looks like they're about to Pillmanize him. And I was like, okay, somebody's music gonna hit, right? They're gonna stop him. Nope. They stomp on the chair and then the music hits and they start. I was like, where were these guys? Why'd they wait so long?
Where are you guys? I think somebody mentioned it on Ask Grapsody too. Remember when this thing had started and there was all those guys out waiting in the parking lot for the Death Riders to show up? Where are any of those guys at? Where's anybody at? What's going on here?
Nobody came to help this guy. And so they actually went through, Pillmanized them. And I was like, okay, where are the baby faces? Like, what's going on here? And
they came after they got to his leg. Oh yeah, his leg's broke. Get out there now.
Right. Then we get this stuff with FDR and Cope, and they're standing tall, run Death Riders away, and that's the cliffhanger. And I was like, oh man, it's the same thing I said after the pay-per-view. It's the same thing I feel like we said last week, where the cliffhanger and where we're going with this world title stuff is some of the most least interesting stuff on the show.
Yep.
I mean, even with everything we said about the gauntlet match, the prospect of Mariah versus Tony 2, love it. Great. Let's get to it. I said the Ricochet Swerve stuff, love it. Let's get to that match. Kenny stuff, Ospreay, awesome. Let's move forward.
There. I'm thinking of all those cliffhangers we could have saw. If we would have ended the show with Tony and Mariah in the middle of the ring facing off, hot, super duper hot.
Yes.
If we would have ended the show with Takeshita and Fletcher on top, have just took out Ospreay and Kenny Omega, we're making money here. But it's like they gave us all that and they're like, no, here's this ending. How do you feel about this?
Right. And the thing that you started building up at one point was Darby. He's gone.
He's out.
Yeah. So, the world title stuff is legitimately some of the most least interesting stuff on the show.
And it's the world title, dog. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I don't like about it, man. Like, I the more and more I see it, and the more I see the reaction online, it just feels like you've got to make a decision. You got to pivot.
The thing that frustrates me the most about it, Phil, is like, it feels like they're like, we don't have any. No, it doesn't feel like. It looks like we don't have anybody for this. We have to have Cope come and save us in this main event division. We have to do this. But you're walking past Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, you're walking past heavy fucking hitters who could lead your company to do that. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't get it, man. And we've talked about
Ospreay's back there.
Yeah, we've talked about it in depth at this point. I just don't get it. Like, I think if all of that stuff is happening with Hobbs in the ring and he's getting beat down, and then we gonna hurt you hits, totally different ending. That is exciting.
Different. Yeah.
Hurt Syndicate coming out and staring those guys down. I feel like that is much more interesting. I feel like there's so many other things on this show that would have been interesting. Even Joe coming back. When Joe came back, I was like, Joe in the title picture would be awesome. But it's where we're at right now. No thanks.
Yeah. And like, what if we want to get back to the spirit of what the Death Riders and Mox was talking about? Joe coming out there to fight for the name of AEW would have hit way different. You know what I mean? Him stomping down to the ring, fucking up the Death Riders. People would have been going mental in that bitch.
What Joe's title reign was supposed to mean right after all of the Punk drama and him getting back to business, him being the guy that reestablished bringing back the rankings, and him saying, no, I don't care about any of this outside stuff, the shenanigans stuff. Let's wrestle. The way you get a match with me is winning and wrestling. And so him being the guy and coming out no nonsense, like, this is what we're doing while I was gone. This is what I did to reestablish that belt for Swerve to be the guy. So now that it's in a briefcase and nobody sees it. That's the story. That's a much more interesting story than what we have.
Just listen to you talk about it. I was already more enthralled. I'm like, shit, this is hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, and it's not even just specifically the Joe thing. There's so many other potential storylines that are much more interesting. And that's kind of the issue here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just because it feels like there's things that I get established about, and then like I'm like, oh, what about the world title? Oh, it's in a briefcase, and it's with Copeland and Christian, and there's these looming things of like things I'm not super excited for. But then you see Kenny Omega and Brian Cage tear it up at the beginning of the show. You see Private Party and Hurt Syndicate and all these guys going 1,000 miles per hour. And it's like, well, what? You know what I mean? Like, every time I see an Ospreay match, I'm like, imagine if he had the world title every time he did this, like how much prestige would be added on to this championship.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because there are still a lot of things on this show that I really like. And you can see that there are things on this show that are hitting with your fan base.
Yes.
Like the Kenny stuff is hitting.
Yes.
And like I said, the Hurt Syndicate stuff is clearly getting over. There's so many things that are working for you. And I don't understand how you don't see the things that aren't working and continue to do them. Like, it's like, all right, well, maybe we should not do that no more. It's not really working.
Like, we haven't even mentioned fucking Hangman, who's riding around, and every time he walks out into the fucking arena, people go insane, and he would represent the world championship as a heel better than anybody in this company right now.
Hangman, up to a point, felt like the main character on the show. You've got Hangman in this retirement bit with Christopher Daniels now.
I love Christopher Daniels, Phil. One of my favorite of all time. I did a tribute to him on Blue Sky yesterday, but not with Hangman though. Like, I don't with
where Hangman left at the end of All Out, and from then on,
molten hot, blazing.
Why are you doing that with him? I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Because it's unfortunate when I saw, like, after this is a problem that AEW has, is like, we're trying to establish the future and all these things. After Jeff Jarrett and MJF had a thing, Jeff Jarrett's backstage and Dustin Rhodes comes out to I'm like, dude, I don't want to see two grandpas talking about you know what I mean? Like, no disrespect to the older guys, but these guys are 110 years old combined age. We shouldn't be seeing this when you got Will Ospreay and Hangman Page backstage. Like, there's a place for this, but not here at this time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't get it. You went from Hangman in this great match with Swerve. He wins the match, close the pay-per-view with him. Then you do the Jay White feud, which I enjoyed. I think both those matches were great. He loses both of those matches. Now he's in a match with a former authority figure. What? What? Why is he not in the world title picture? Like, why is he not being like a fixture on the main show? Like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this?
Now he locked up with Adam Pearce. No, this isn't the way, guys.
Yo.
Like, I think we're supposed to do something else.
No, I don't get it, man. I don't get what we're doing with Hangman at the moment. I don't understand. Why are we doing that?
You should have just continued the shit with him and Jay White. If that's what we're doing, like, you're going to have these two guys over here not in the title picture, fucking have them keep going then.
Yeah.
And I like Christopher Daniels a lot. I think he deserves a nice send-off and everything, but like, it's exactly the same way I feel about MJF. I'm like, I like Jeff Jarrett a lot, but this guy's the franchise of your fucking company. He should be locked in with other heavy hitters that are here. Like, these two guys should be in a feud, MJF and Hangman, with each other, not with Christopher Daniels and fucking Double J.
Well, there's things, and this is why I said last week I liked what they did with Max and Jeff, because I like the idea of Max going, oh, I want my championship back. Oh, those big scary guys over there that are like putting bags on people's heads and trying to make people drink bleach, they're holding the belts. You got it, guys. Like, I'll wait this one out. Or you had the chance to get in the gauntlet and you tried to take the easy way around. Like, I think all of that fits his character.
Yeah.
And even trying to get Jeff to help him. Like, oh, well, you finessed your way into all of these situations. Here, why don't we make a deal? I will help you get the world title, but long as you give me the match, because I don't want to wrestle those big scary guys over there. That guy that's like bleeding and like biting people and stabbing people and putting bags over people's heads. No. I'll wrestle you. Like, I think you're an easy opponent to beat. All of that makes sense. It's all logical. The issue is that it's just too much of it. If you had cut that segment short and we didn't see Jeff twice in the night, it wouldn't have been as bad. Seeing Jeff twice, and let's just clarify before I even move forward. I like Jeff. I think Jeff Jarrett is great. I think he's made the most out of everything since the Owen Hart Cup and turning face. But seeing Jeff twice and Hangman's not on the show doesn't make sense.
We saw a 14-minute promo segment with Double J and Hangman's outside. That's crazy.
That don't make sense. And you've got so many other things that is working and your audience is into. But you're double dipping with Jeff? I don't know about that decision, guys. Like,
double dipping with Jeff. It's funny, Phil, because the funny thing about AEW and how they have been moving recently, they just told us who they were with the Continental Classic. We were just locked into what this company can and will be, and they're like, no, let's double dip with Jeff.
No, and I'm serious. Like, I'm not trying to make it a bit of I like Jeff. No, I fuck with Jeff Jarrett. I like
Jeff Jarrett for real. Yeah.
I don't understand why there was so much of him this week.
Like, he got to talk to Dustin too. We just saw him talk, dog. What's going on here?
And it's not, we got to see so much of him in a vacuum. We got to see so much of him, and we're not seeing Deanna. We're not seeing Hangman. We're not seeing other people that we want to see.
Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing. It's like, it's not, we're not just mad at Jeff Jarrett. Like we said, we're both big fans, but there's other people that should be getting even half of that time. Like, put these guys out here for 7 minutes or put these women out here for 7 minutes. Like, it just doesn't really make sense. For like, we're in this new era. We're on Max now. We're probably still trying to compete with WWE and what they're doing. And then you're presenting this. It just doesn't add up, you know?
Yeah. I didn't get it. And you're building towards Grand Slam. It's weird that people are like, oh, So this is not a pay-per-view now? It was never a pay-per-view. I don't know why people are trying to retroactively make Grand Slam a pay-per-view just because it's in Australia, but it was never a pay-per-view. But I do think
it's always
if
on
you're
Wednesdays.
yeah, you're building to an international show, whether it's a pay-per-view or not. And this thing is in, what, a month?
Yeah.
And the build to it is interesting. We've got the news that it's not going to be a live, it's going to be a taped show, and it's just decisions being made that I don't really understand.
Why can't it be live? Aren't they on Max now?
Well, there's basketball going on that night, and then the time difference with Australia.
Oh, the time difference.
Yeah.
People don't like fucking tape shows. They'll look at the show. That's just how life works.
Yeah. So it's twofold. It's that they're going against basketball, and there's the time difference.
Damn, that's unfortunate. Do you think this MJF and Double J match is going to be on that show? Are they going to do a match? I don't know what this is.
I sure hope they're going to do a match. They're devoting all this time to it.
Right. Yeah.
They got to be doing a match. But the amount of time they're devoting to it makes me believe this is going to be a Revolution match.
Yeah. See, that was my nightmare.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a Revolution match, unless they're going to just get a TV match out the way before then. But that's not really how Max does his programs. Max usually builds to the pay-per-views.
And that's what this. It's the same thing with the Death Riders thing, and like it feels like they're going to do Mox and Cope at Revolution, which means 2 months of this shit. And that's what I'm thinking of with Double J and MJ. I'm like, they're going to do this for 2 months. Nuh-uh, you better stop. Just like the thing with Darby Allin, people are like, oh well, they're going to probably get to Darby Allin at All In. I'm like, All In is in July, dog. What you think? Like, we can't be with Mox we can't do this Death Rider same thing every week until July, dude. We cannot.
You can't. No.
Your fans are going to scream at you every week. If you do this same thing for fucking 40 more times in a row, people are going to scream.
No. You can't.
Nervous about it. They're trying to get to July. What's Mox going to do till July, dog? Come on. That's crazy. Hot potato that bitch, dog. You have the means to do this. Like, you could have had somebody really win that Battle Royal last week and beat this fool on Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it.
I think you got to make the move. And I think starting the year with the New Japan stuff, and you see what your wrestlers look like in Japan in the Dome, and then you come back and you're doing this with your world title. I don't know, dog. He might need to make a move.
And I feel like Kenny's gonna fucking force this eventually. Like, you're not gonna be able to continuously put Kenny Omega on there every week and them just ignore it. He's way too hot, Phil, and he's gonna get even hotter if we keep seeing him in anything like this. And it's gonna be like, all right, you guys, this is a joke at this bit. Like, why isn't Kenny in the fucking main event?
He's too hot, and it funny enough feels like the first year of the company where you had him walking around like, well, I don't need to be in the world title picture because I'm Kenny Omega. No, we want you in world title picture because you are Kenny Omega.
Fuck, Phil. It feels just like that, dog. Like, when they started this company, I'm like, why is it Kenny Omega? Like, you don't even have to be champion, but you need to be in the mix at least. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing. It's like, no, I'm over here doing this thing. And it's like, fuck, we need you in the mix, though.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel you, bit dog, when you're saying he's just got back, but again, this is not things happening in a vacuum. If it was just he got back and people are like rushed to make him champion now, it's people are saying that because they don't like what's happening in the main title picture. If what Mox was doing was hitting and people loved it, you wouldn't hear this. But because people are like, what are we doing? Why do we have our belt in a briefcase and stuff like this? It makes it even more glaring that you've got Kenny Omega back and he's had this massive match at Wrestle Dynasty that people loved, and it's like, get to it.
Yeah, it's like, why are you showing me this when you could be showing me that?
And the guy just came back from a life-threatening injury. It's like, man, time is short. I don't know, something else could happen. Get to it, bro. Like, you could.
That's what I'm talking about. We don't know how much longer. Like, diverticulitis almost took the homie out. Like, we got this time now, and he's ready to go. Put that motherfucker on him. We don't got time to waste.
Get to it. And we've seen how this happened multiple times before. We've seen how the Cody stuff happened, where it's like, all right, don't put him in the title picture because we'll have time. He gone.
He
don't
gone.
don't do the Punk and Brian match. Let's slow build to it because we got time. We never got it.
You don't know what you have time for these days. Injuries, life, everything happens too quickly. You got to do it. And if you need to pivot on from what you thought you were going to do, that's just how it needs to happen, man. Like, I think that the bloodline stuff has done so many damageable thing. I can't even say the fucking word. It's done such a crazy irreparable things to pro wrestling that everybody's brains are in that, because wrestling fans told AEW so often when they would announce a match that's with no story, you got to tell stories, you got to do this, you got to finish the story, you got to do all these things. Now AEW stuck in this, like, we have to tell 6 months worth of stories to do this, and now they're stuck in this loop. And like, I knew that it was going to get here. I knew that if everybody locked into this bloodline style thing that it was going to do some damage, but I just didn't know it was going to be this bad, because Death Riders and Mox are doing bloodline bits every week at this point.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily a terrible thing. I just think it's just not hidden. It's not working.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. What are people talking about? People are in our chat saying, look at Ray Phoenix's tweet.
Oh, God.
Which I saw his tweet where he congratulated Penta people, got all upset. And I was like, what did you guys expect him to say?
Brother. That's his real life brother, not a bit brother.
That's his brother. He's excited for him. I see. It's if you have not seen it yet, it's a picture of him in a straight jacket and a
Why, Phoenix? You're locked down? I love that they confirmed that Corey Graves' bit was a bit. I'm like, I knew this shit was a bit off rip. Come on.
Yeah, he's working. It just was some facts in his rap this time. Like, he had a point. And I'm not this big Corey Graves. I'm not this big Corey Graves guy, but he had a point when he was talking about, I had to step away from wrestling because I had this massive injury, got really good at this, and was known for this thing. There's some fans that don't even know me as a wrestler. They only know me as a commentator. And no, you go and bring in a celebrity or somebody that has is more famous than me, and now I have to go over here. Like, it's messed up. It is messed up.
Especially for some guy who's working so hard for the company. Like, Corey's put in any position that they want him to be, and then the next week they're like, actually, we're bringing in this guy that's never done wrestling in his life to do it instead of you.
And he ain't that good at it.
Yeah, also.
Yeah. But he's got a name, and so he's always going to be picked.
He's Michael Cole's friend, so it's all good. What do you want to do?
Yeah, he's a famous football player, so they're going to pick him over you, and I feel it. I get it. I definitely think it's a work, but it's too much. It's too much reality to that to make me think that he doesn't potentially feel that way.
Yeah, it's definitely real life in there. Like, you can't want to work hard and get your dream taken away from you and feel good about it. But, like, it's going to turn into something. It's going to work out for him.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys, as always. We got more super chats?
Yeah, we got a couple of super chats. Bianca Leia says, good afternoon. Don't sleep on Mystery Wrestling tomorrow on Twitch. Free stream, fun matches, Michael Oku wrestling, and Nyla Rose commentary. Must watch.
Yeah. What did Rick Ross do? What are you guys talking about Rick Ross?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. He was on stage, too.
Oh, he's going to be at the inauguration, too?
He already did it. I saw a video. What's happening?
Yeah.
He's at some rally.
Oh.
Huh. Come on, Ross. Whatever, man. I don't like hip hop no more. Samuel Muscle says, what's good, Reg and Phil? Hope y'all have a good Saturday. Thanks for being the soundtrack while I paint my client's house.
Hey, dope.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate you, man. That's dope. Thanks for coming through. And I hope that you're having fun out there with the paint. Margie Love says the post-match angle with Callis Fam and Kenny is the type of stuff I want to see weekly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, need more of it. Just as long as it's Kenny and Ospreay, bring it on.
Yes.
Grapple Geekery says that MJF Double J promo and Jericho promo were a waste of time, TV time, and the Gauntlet could have used stuff like this. Makes AEW look a bit sexist. Also, team a toot.
Yeah. Don't do Alicia like that. I ain't
Yeah.
what? Don't do Alicia. That's what the women be saying. Don't do Alicia. I'm sorry. I made that sound lame as fuck.
You did.
Never again. I'll never do it again. Sorry.
It's clipped now. It's never gonna die. Margie also says in Mercedes newsletter, she mentioned she'll be wrestling in Australia. Any thoughts on who her opponent might be?
I don't know. I got a good laugh out of Mercedes this week. One of the blackest things I've ever seen on Dynamite. Her doing the Sherry Shepherd interview and then finishing that up, going to buy some jewelry, training in the do-rag. I was like, nah.
Black.
I loved it.
Black TV show. She went to go buy some jewelry, black shit, and then she wrestles in a do-rag. Amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. That shot of her with all the belts up and she had like the track suit on with the do-rag. I was like, nah, man. I ain't accepting no slander, dog.
Superfly. Shout out to Mercedes, one of the greatest of all time. And don't you guys AEW stop fucking do that. I'm not mad about anything else that you did on Dynamite this week. MJF shit was fine. You keep showing Amazing Red on TV, training and having fun with her, and not putting them on real AEW TV. There's gonna be a problem. Put Amazing Red on TV, you sons of bitches. Just want to see Red. That's it. That's all. And then our homie LaRon Forward, a very generous super chat, says, "Great show as always. Thank you both."
Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, LaRon. That's really dope. That's really generous of you. Thanks for always supporting. Thanks to everybody for always supporting. Y'all are amazing. Who has a Mercedes? Who's the big AEW match that still is looming?
For Mercedes, I mean, I think people want to see the Willow rematch. The Deanna is a match for me. I don't know why they wouldn't do that one. I think that match makes a lot of sense.
There's a couple people they could build up in a couple weeks to get her a big Australia match, like anybody at this point.
Yeah, of course the Athena match is a big one. Red Velvet's one I want to see.
Red Velvet.
Who else do they have? Jamie Hayter.
Jamie.
They got some matches for her, bro.
They do. Yeah. Jamie's a big one. That's a huge one. Yeah, they could do something with her. It could happen. That's all of our super chats for now. I appreciate y'all.
Yes. I saw a chat and now it's gone. I don't see it anymore. It's gone.
So good, I'm drinking.
There it is. All right. Melissa was saying, I took it that since Christopher Daniels is close with Adam Page, that's why he chose him as the person to retire him. I don't mind it. No, I don't mind it either. It's, again, one of those things, if it's just happening in a vacuum, I don't mind it. But when you look at the way he's been booked since the All Out match, that's why I'm like, why are we doing that with him? Because at one point, the trajectory was heading one way, and then it just darted over here somewhere. It's like, but why? Why'd you do that? Like, he was presented as the main character on the show, as somebody that felt like he belonged in the world title picture, to now doing this side quest to retire Christopher Daniels.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not about them being in the position. It's not about Chris Daniels getting this match. It's just like when you look at it in totality and what's happening in the main event, seeing where he should be. That's what the thing is.
Right. And yeah, so I just wanted to grab the chat to respond and say, like, I don't mind him doing it. I think it's fine. And I think it's a good way to send Christopher Daniels off. I just don't understand why you went from where you were to that. That's all.
Like, if he was the world champion, he wouldn't be doing this.
No. I think we have one Humper chat left. And then we're going to ride off into the sunset. From Derail Fenderson, he says, here's a few bucks to apologize for all my complaining about YouTube ads in the chat. Tell SRS to turn that shit off. Every 4 to 5 minutes was grinding my gears. Love you guys. Keep up the best podcast on here. Thank you, man. That whole YouTube has ramped up the ads thing where you could be watching a video or watching something live and you still get ads. I don't understand that. Why is that a thing now?
YouTube is trying to get their monies. That's why. But we love YouTube. Thank you guys. Y'all are great over at YouTube Inc.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Again, follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, YouTube be on some bullshit. Actually, subscribe to the Grapsody YouTube page on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. The link to that is just youtube.com at Grapsody. It's in our chat.
Yes, sir.
Put it on our screen in a second when it actually lets me do it. There you go. That is our YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to, tweet us and send us stuff that you would like to see us doing on that channel, because I'm legitimately interested.
Me too. Send it to us. Send us the blue sky. Send us the tweets. Send us everything.
Yeah, but appreciate you guys as always. This is where we leave you. This has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsay. It's Righteous Reg. We're out of here.